Good morning, campers. Welcome to Midnight's Edge in the morning, the place where we turn bad into even worse. That will make more sense here in just a few minutes. I'm Tom Connors. With me is the boss man, Andre. How are you doing?
I am positively stunned for two reasons. One is that I ventured into the second episode of Cleopatra on Netflix.
Why would you do such a thing?
Well, out of the commitment to all of you guys, so I can properly review it. I mean, I'm even in talks with a proper Egyptologist that's going to help me tear this thing to shreds. So yeah, it's going to be a good ride. But that unfortunately means I have to sacrifice a few more brain cells watching this. I'd much rather read 1984 one more time, because same difference. This is just like the practical example of it. So that's one thing. And just when you thought that you couldn't do worse than Bud Light, someone else said, "Hold my beer." So yeah, I'm just in disbelief here.
Yes, indeed. And this one completely, this one hits home for me, I guess, even though I'm not a beer drinker, but we'll get into that. Joining us this morning, we also have the script doctor. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Excited for today's discussion, and it's appropriate that we're doing the 404th episode, because when it comes to the media reporting on some stuff, 404 error not completed is pretty accurate.
I'm sorry, I had a 404 error in my brain for a moment. Also joining us is Culture Casino. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm laughing inside for a lot of reasons right now.
That's what I'm feeling too.
But I'm great. It's a marvelous Monday indeed. So I can't wait to get to it.
It is Monday, and speaking of Mondays, that's the day we get to hang out with the man I want to be when I don't grow up, Mr. Chris Gore.
Hey Tom, thanks for the intro. I'm out of it.
Yes,
It's
indeed.
Monday morning, so I'm a little.
You're also Arrow 404.
Yeah. Oh, I'm my brain. That's where I'm at this moment. But happy to be here.
Keep hitting the refresh button. We'll be all right.
I'll do that. Thanks.
Get him some coffee, stat.
Yeah, great to see you, Frank. It's been a while.
Yes,
Yeah,
we're glad to have you. And Shum says he's getting a 404 error for the show for some reason. I don't understand. Weird. Well, hopefully that has been fixed since you've been able to send a super chat, I'd imagine so. Thank you, Shum. We appreciate that for kicking off the show. We got Callum Lyle, who says that Afro Cleopatra actress in recent interview made it loud and clear that she really hates people that aren't black. And they say whites are racist. Well,
No.
Andre, have you seen this yet?
Yeah, I've seen the actress basically go a full frontal attack on, well, basically everyone who isn't black, but especially everyone who is white and everyone who is Egyptian, whether or not they are white, for having the audacity to dare claim that Egyptians weren't black, which is
just
something
existing
that
in
this
general?
series claims, because it's canon to this Netflix series that the Egyptians were black. Only white people in Egypt were the Greeks. So yeah, I have seen it, and I'm looking forward to the follow-up video.
Yeah, I started watching Cleopatra. It's terrible.
How was it?
The Netflix show?
Yeah, give us. I want to have Chris Gore's review of Cleopatra so far.
Well,
like, how much of it did you see?
I just started watching the first episode. It's awful. It's awful. It's like one of those bad, like, Life of Jesus, documentaries that air on like CNN or something when it's
Or A&E.
A&E. Yeah, no, that's right. A&E.
What if Jesus was black?
But it's just a narrator walking you through her life. And here's the reason the
That's
show.
Mrs. Will Smith. That's the narrator.
Yeah, well, but here's the reason the show doesn't work. They build her up to be this like amazing woman, girl boss, like strategy, sex, and her seductive wiles. And the woman who plays Cleopatra is not attractive. She's just a very average woman. She's not.
From the images I saw, doesn't she look a lot like Jada Pinkett Smith, actually?
I guess, it's that sort of
Well,
self-insert
if Jada lets herself go and gains a few pounds, then yeah, maybe.
Oh,
She
from the
is
picture I
not-
saw. Sorry.
She's not an attractive woman. Look, as much as like Elizabeth Taylor, whatever, right? The spectacle of the original Cleopatra from, was it the 60s?
People need to stop talking
Late
about
60s,
that
yeah.
movie. I submit that there is one Cleopatra that people should be talking about, and that is the storyline in the HBO series Rome. That is the only Cleopatra anyone needs to keep in mind, because that is the definitive version to date, and I do not think it can be topped.
I was gonna say, nobody's ever brought that movie up for historical reasons. It's usually, at least not about Cleopatra. Usually, if they bring it up, it's because it was one of the movies that it damn near killed Hollywood.
Exactly.
If you're gonna cast a woman to play Cleopatra, cast a very attractive, sexy woman like a Gal Gadot or something. Like, I think that the woman they chose to play her is so average and seems kind of short, and like you said, a self-insert from Jada Pinkett Smith. I'm looking at this going, I'm not going to watch her for 6 episodes. I'll not make it through. I'm not going to make it through. It looks so, and the first episode is always sort of a tease for what you're about to see in the upcoming 6 episodes, and it looks insufferable. I'd rather see a historically accurate, kind of boring, give me a Ken Burns style documentary about Cleopatra, not this A&E, the life of Cleopatra, everything dramatized, and it looks so low budget. She is a super low rent actress they got to play. She's not a good actress.
I have to say, like, the first, like, I did not mean to interrupt, sorry, but I just have to say, like, when we first see her, when she's sitting in the library of Alexandria, and that idiot says that, I imagine she was sitting there reading about the earlier girl boss queens of Egypt. Why don't we get a series about them? Dreaming about the day when she would be a girl boss queen herself. That's what that asshole imagined. That's a general theme. These idiots imagining things, and that's what we see dramatized. And then she's sitting there in the library of Alexandria, like 50 years before Christ, and it looks like she's sitting there chewing gum. It's probably cut or something, but it looks like she's chewing gum. I was appalled by how shit she was.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's
another
bad.
history buff is Mr. Chato.
Ladies and gentlemen,
had the pleasure
boys and girls, the one who has a plaque, Mr. Paul Chato.
Speaking of appalled.
There you go.
So here we go.
We were just talking about Cleopatra. Look, just to wrap it up, she's just not very attractive. If I'm going to watch 6 episodes or 4, whatever this series is, 40 minutes each, give me a woman I can look at for that length of time that's attractive. This woman is not attractive. They're trying to say she's more historically accurate. It's the whole thing is bad. It's a bad, you pointed it out, Script Doctor. It's a bad A&E, like Life of Jesus type of documentary. That's a style of documentary, which it's my least favorite because it seems so inaccurate. There's nothing. I don't know. It's just terrible.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, tonight you're going to meet the son of Bigfoot. Crap like that.
Yeah.
Called Little Toe.
Little Toe.
And I will just say again, watch Rome. It tells Cleopatra's story perfectly to an extent which can't be done. And spoiler for season 2, then we get season 2, episode 2, which is almost as unsufferable as the first episode. That's when we get into Rome proper. And again, it's like so fun to hear them try to juggle between actual history and their vision of Cleopatra as a girl boss that she wasn't. The copium and the cognitive dissonance is something to behold.
Indeed. So we'll have to see what you got in store for us in Cleopatra culture. Do you have something to add to that? You popped up there.
No, I'm not going to watch this show. The minute they tried to drop this idea that it was some kind of a documentary on it, and then I figured out where it was coming from, and then we heard all the motivations for it being done. This thing, I mean, maybe it resembles some form of documentary filmmaking, but none that I would trust. So I'm not interested in this.
I gotta make a Chris doesn't recommend button, I guess.
You need one. Yeah.
So at the end, you got to scream, Chris, don't watch it.
Oh,
Don't watch it.
No, that might work.
Yeah. No, it's just God. I only started watching it because of the controversy. I thought, well, I'll check it out. And the people on the Film Threat channel were like, make Gore watch it. So, I'm
want to torture you, man.
wow.
Responding to my audience, and wow, what an insufferable. It's bad.
Yeah, you should have a category called gored.
Gored, yeah.
Oh, there we go.
I like that. I like that.
Wow.
That is good.
And just have like this giant spear through your chest.
Yeah.
But you also have to look bored in it too.
Chris Board and Gord.
Yeah.
Callum Lyle says, and that very queer acolyte lady reminds me a lot of showrunner that did the She-Ra 2018. They have very similar speech patterns and SJW opinions. Well, I don't know about the speech patterns and such, but yeah, no.
Are you talking
Lady
about the woman
Flintstone.
whose glasses are way too big?
Yes, we're talking about former Weinstein assistant,
Correct.
Leslie Headland. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how bad the acolyte turns out. Callum then also adds, if I could talk today, but I think the acolyte is going to be another therapy session like She-Hulk and She-Ra 2018, anti-male genders and 2016 election. Ugh, women. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
I would
Andre.
just say that it's going to be a great opportunity to not watch Disney Plus and
Right.
Vote by simply doing nothing or watching something else.
And then we got Dr. Long Dongler here who sent us a thumbs up. I'm willing to bet. Thank you so much. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. We got Stian Munstad as well, who I believe also sent us a thumbs up. Thank you so much. And then we've got this one here, Pirate Queen, who actually gets us on our first topic of the morning. What are you doing?
I'm doing thumbs up. Magic. See? Where'd the thumb go? Look. Oh, how'd he do it?
That's
Don't
one of
do that
Mr.
again.
Chato's many talents.
That's right.
That's like children's party level. Bat Tom would slap you
Hey,
for that.
stop
He'd be
it.
like, I could do a better job than that, he'd say.
Oh man.
Pirate Queen says, speaking of beer and ESG, oh, here we go.
Oh boy.
Check out the absolute cringe that is the Miller Lite commercial.
Is that a real ad? I heard someone talk about it. The woman walking through something.
We're about to see it.
I went to the website to confirm it is real.
It is.
I thought we were smarter than this in Wisconsin. I got to imagine Miller Lite's headquarters is not in Wisconsin. As far as like where they decide to do ads and crap, because
If this is satire, they're going all the way.
It is not. You said you checked out the
I checked out
website.
the
It's
website.
legit.
Yeah, let's just see this. We'll risk the strike. Let's just play this till the end. We'll talk.
Well,
about
actually-
oh boy, there's a lot to talk about.
Lord, yeah. Let's just. Okay, I got to turn.
Take
the
it
volume,
louder so we
obviously.
can put subtitles on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just a moment. It's all turned down because
I do not mean to sound
There's-
overly bossy, but everyone.
no, there is no damn closed captioning. So
Here's a little known fact. Women were among the very first to brew beer ever. From Mesopotamia to the Middle Ages to colonial America, women were the ones doing the brewing.
okay, so far, probably partially true, but who gives a fuck?
I feel like we need some community notes on this.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. Who cares? But anyway, we already could see where this is headed, right?
Centuries later, how did the industry pay homage to the founding mothers of beer? They put us in bikinis.
Bet you she's a blast at parties.
Who is this? Who's this woman?
I have no
Hey,
idea.
this is a spokesperson.
Okay.
I am not convinced this is a woman.
Oh Lord. Have we gotten to that point?
She should be in a bikini doing this.
That's what I said.
Wild! It's time beer made it up to women. So today, Miller Lite is on a mission to clean up not just their shit, but the whole beer industry's shit. Miller Lite has been scouring the internet for all this and buying it back so that they can turn it into good for women brewers. Literally good. How, you ask? Ladies, take it away.
First, we turn the bad into compost. Then we feed compost to worms. Push out beautiful fertilizer. That good helps farmers grow quality hops.
Just, do they really think that this is attractive in any way? I get what they're trying to do, but they're not shaming me. Yeah. Like, I don't give a fuck.
It's too angry. This could actually.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
It could have been done in a fun way.
If every single woman was wearing a bikini while they were doing this, we would all be enjoying it.
Right. And
then that would add to the humor of it. Yes.
Yeah. Or, just change it around to just men in tiny, it's muscled men in tiny jogs. So this is actually what we want. We invented this shit. This is what we want. But
no, I think
they're men in a slingshot.
Well, script is onto something. Like, what you do is you have them, like you said, you have them in the bikini and be like, just because we look good doesn't mean we're not smart either. And then you get into this whole thing.
Anyway, let's
but anyway,
keep going.
Which is then donated to women brewers to make their own really good
But there's definitely more out there. In your attic, in the garage.
Okay, so they're basically giving away money to their competition.
Yeah. We're going to give money to microbrewers.
Yeah, that's part of the problem right now. And I don't know if Andre knows this or not, but because I'm sure you've been deep into studying some of this stuff in the last week or two with the stuff you've been doing. But like, microbrewers are part of the reason that Miller and Budweiser and all these guys are taking a hit right now.
Yep. People are going to the microbrewers instead of this, their garbagey beer.
I would say, like, American drinkers of beer, like, the choice is made real easy for you. Instead of like going through each and every like beer in the store to check if it's Anheuser-Busch or now if it's Molson Coors, because they do not want your custom either. Just do it simple. Just don't take any chances, because they all need their ESG points, and just go straight for some microbrewery. Go for a local microbrewery and you'll be on the safe side.
Oh, yeah.
You'll even support local enterprise, which is far better. And make no mistake about it, this commercial right here, Molson Coors needs their ESG points too.
So Coors owns Miller now, so that means I think it's out of St. Louis.
Yeah, it's Molson Coors. Yeah, and look, I mean, I'm going to say something, and normally I don't comment on people's appearances, but it looked like the casting person was tasked with finding the most plain Jane women they could for this ad.
For the rest of them, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, is this a biological woman? I'm not familiar with this actress.
I'm with Andre on this. I'm not 100% sure. I can't not question anymore.
Given her weight size from her and her shoulder width and her hip width, I would say she's probably a woman.
Yeah, I'm going.
Script might be right. I haven't seen an Adam's apple yet either.
Well, not only that, like, trans women have way narrower waists and hips, and she looks like she's got birthing hips. So.
Okay, so we can refer to. Okay, fine. So it's safe to refer to her to the actress as a she.
There's one other.
I'm 75% sure it's a woman.
Yeah, Script's onto something. There's also a way you can tell by the body shape too, because men get like pot belly, beer bellies. Women don't. They get like.
Well, men have way wider shoulders, except for
that
me.
too. Yes. But there's ways. But that's the sad part, is we got to fucking look anymore.
And they have to use shit. They had to do that. That's like very hot. Like,
what's really bad? Okay,
you're really cool by doing that.
Notice here, all the pictures of the women have their faces blurted out.
Yeah.
Now you think that they. It's just going to say thank you for jumping ahead of the joke here. I was going to say, you think it's so they can protect them? No. This is so they don't have to fucking pay them. So they're using their assets without using their faces, so they don't have to pay these women who actually did this.
Well, and it doesn't give you a basis of comparison for beauty, because that's the last thing in the world they want to do.
Yeah, because the last thing she wants is anybody on screen prettier than her.
That's a very nice Angora sweater she's wearing.
Oh, you were just looking at. I can't say it. I'll be nice.
Well, I don't think she's wearing a bra, so
I'm not entirely sure about that.
Well, it's. Oh man, I gotta stop. I'm not gonna say it.
Hey, keep going.
Nope. No, I'm not Paul Chato. I'll keep it inside.
Keep going.
Yes, Ed would love that sweater.
Oh,
Paul.
by the way,
Thank you.
they've already given us ways to go about making fun of this. I mean, yes, you make shit. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they don't use hops in these beers. They use rice.
Not anymore. Yeah, they have.
Let's finish it up. I am
Space
desperate to
Send
get
any shit you got into Miller Lite, and they'll turn that into good shit too. Oh, so here's to women, because without us, there would be no beer.
Wrong. In fact, the whole basis for civilization was the fact that we learned how to ferment things.
So, Mr. Gore, what we just heard here was what you might call a rewrite of history. Do you feel like running out to buy some Molson Coors beer right now?
No, I think I'm going to quit drinking beer altogether. I'm tired of this shit. And all these like corporate beers anyways are not great. I mean, they're just in terms of flavor. But what I'm tired of is centering unfuckable women in advertising, in media, and even in television and movies. Sex sells. A woman in a bikini or a mini skirt with heels, it's tried and true, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And trying to basically appeal to social justice young women is a fucking losing strategy. I think this is terrible, and I cannot believe this is coming on the heels, so to speak, of the Dylan Mulvaney fiasco.
Yeah.
Bud Light. I mean, I even like, God, I was at a bar the other day and they had Bud Light seltzer, which is like a hard seltzer. I like hard seltzers. That's kind of my new go-to. It's basically a vodka soda with a little flavor in it. Because I'm trying to cut down on drinking, oddly. And the woman
this must be helping.
Well, it's not going to help, but yeah, it could be helping. But also, by the way, that like just as a whole, younger people are drinking less.
Yeah,
they're drinking less alcohol, so
they can't afford it.
Well, I mean, could be that, but also, I just in general, overall, young people are drinking less alcohol. That's
can someone just tell me what's the shit that they're talking about in this? I missed that angle.
They claim that they are buying, and I don't know how true this is. They claim they're going out and buying all the old materials, like the old ads and stuff, advertising stuff. And I'm assuming they're turning it into compost.
Oh, grinding it up into compost, and that is what.
That's what they're insinuating here. And yeah, to me, this whole thing is fucking stupid.
I mean, is that a strong selling point? Like,
no,
our beer, it's made from compost.
They could have actually gone another way other than what Script and Paul were talking earlier, and it just dawned on me. Like, they could have been actually jabbing it to Bud Light a little bit about actually having real women involved. But they didn't even do that.
Well, I'm
right.
The thing
they
I'm
went and jumped the
after,
fucking shark in this.
After
in this
the
sense.
explosion that's happened with Bud Light, who in their right mind at Miller would put this ad out? Even though it's a lighter version of it, I'm thinking I would have all the executives huddle in a room saying that campaign you showed us a couple of months ago. Let's take a look at it again. No fucking way we're putting this on. Okay, well, guys.
They just took it down.
It's also intended to shame men who like looking at attractive women.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
This is what I say to that. Fuck you. I want to see attractive women in movies. I'd love to see an attractive woman playing Cleopatra. We didn't get that. And this is just after the god awful, and it's people at these ad agencies. It's fresh out of college. Young women in the marketing department who aren't even the demographic. Look, you can't sell something you don't understand. You can't sell something if you're not a consumer of that thing to begin with.
And there has been progress, and sex does sell. I remember before COVID, I went to the auto show and I went to the Fiat booth, Fiat Ferrari area, and there were like a bevy of both babes in tight white leather outfits with the Fiat green and red stripes going up and down their side, and they're going, okay, a lot of guys here. But the change was that the girls knew everything about the car. 12-cylinder,
Right.
15-liter, and they sounded like they were auto enthusiasts. They could go toe-to-toe or belly-to-belly with the guys and could talk cars. That was one of the revolutionary changes of the, let's call it the sexual revolution or feminism, is that at least they were all completely dressed. They weren't hanging out of their outfits. They looked great, but they could talk cars. That was a big change from maybe 20, 30 years ago, where the girls were just draped over the cars and that was it. And there was nothing wrong with that. And I talked to one of the girls. I said, well, what's happening with your job? She says, I'm done. Like, I'm not allowed to do this anymore. They're all firing all our girls. I made my entire living on this. I busted my ass to learn how these cars worked, and I really love it. And none of us are getting jobs anymore because the shit that's out there.
Well, I think they are scrubbing the internet right now. I think Script's right.
Yeah,
because
but why can't good looking women get work anymore?
I got this up here right here that says I could click on it. Says B2G subscribe. Join our mission to turn old sexist beer ads into fertilizer to grow hops for women brewers. Sign up to help us today. Any bad shit you find, and we'll give you $10. I click on it, and it's no longer that.
Yeah,
wow.
it
actually says you're not authorized to access this page. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They took it down. They took it off of YouTube already. They're scrubbing it, and it hasn't even been like 2 hours.
But did this come out today, or did it come out weeks ago?
It looks like this initially started in March, so it's not that old, but it's like
but
a
you
month
can't
and a half,
verify it anymore because it's already caught on to the internet and they're against it, and so they took it off. Like, you can't even go to the bad shit to good shit website anymore. It doesn't exist.
And back to the objectification of women. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with objectifying women. I don't have a problem with objectifying men.
Hallelujah.
The thing is,
talk about my life, Chris.
Yeah, exactly.
Every Monday night for two hours, I got to listen to women objectify Henry Cavill.
Yeah, first of all, I don't care. Shirtless Henry Cavill, shirtless Chris Evans, who cares? And you know what? Give us sexy women. Bring, a Black Widow was sexy. Scarlett Johansson is Black Widow. There's that famous.
Well, I think the way that you really should put it, Chris, is that a lot of women want to be sexy, right? Or they want to be perceived as sexy, or they want to look sexy. Not every woman wants to look like a frumpy dumpy woman like in that ad, right? Like,
yeah, what a terrible campaign, and on the heels of the Dylan Mulvaney thing, it's just stupid.
Well, clearly I think they were trying to not let us see this. I think Script's right. And didn't you say you just checked before the show when we were looking this stuff up and it was still there?
I actually checked an hour ago, and I put the website link in one of my Twitter replies because someone was asking if this was satire. And I went there, and it was a page that had the YouTube video right there. And you can't, they replaced the page already. It just goes to the homepage now. Doesn't go to that.
I tried to go to it now, and it's gone.
And what's funny is that they keep picking women that look like the dyke side of lesbians, and
right.
We for many years, a decade, supported lesbian charities, and there's two groups. There's the dyke side and the lipstick ladies. No one talks about them. The lipstick ladies look like more fashionable traditional women, and generally those are the couples. You've got the one that kind of looks like male-ish, and then you've got the one that is much more female, and that's how they find each other and they're attracted to each other. That's the split that they want, but they only show this one side. You never see the lipstick ladies. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's lipstick lesbian is a thing. But let me say that this is there a word we could make up that this is like an ist? Like, if you're against attractive people, you're sexy-ist.
No, they used to just be called party poopers, but yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, those you could tell are just jealous because they're not that chick or that guy. Basically, yeah.
Oh, so this campaign launched in March. So
Yes.
it's one of those things of like people didn't even. It was such a terrible campaign. No one noticed it.
I think Dylan Mulvaney had kind of like
overshadowed it. Yeah.
Overshadowed it. Yeah.
So was this pre Mulvaney this ad?
I think it's roughly the same time. Yeah, around the same time, but yeah.
Because Mulvaney was like late March, early April, right?
Let me look here.
Yeah, it was like March Madness. Was like the
that's what I was saying.
Time of that
like 2 weeks
campaign.
after or a week after this one.
And you know what that tells me? That like I don't know this for a fact, but if that came out in March and this came out in March, that tells me there's going to be something else out there from another beer company out in March as well, because it seems like someone in control of the ESG stuff decided that for the month of March, for March Madness, where we want all of the beer companies to show their allegiance to the cause.
Yeah, that's a good
point.
That's
why we would get something like this. That's why we would get several beer companies around the same time frame championing similar causes.
All right, I'm actually
go women and screw men.
It was April 1st, and that's why I think some people were like, "What the hell?" with the Dylan Mulvaney thing. That's when he dropped it.
Which time zone?
It doesn't really matter. I think it was in the middle of the day. Doesn't say.
Okay.
So
it just says April
2 weeks
1st
after March Madness.
Yep. So couldn't even get it in the right window.
Yeah, no, they should have known by then.
The world has gone mad. Up here, there's been an attack on Mother's and Father's Day. Like you can't say it.
I saw that yesterday online with the whole Mother's Day thing, and they're like, not all mothers are women and shit like that all over the place and stuff.
Yeah, For mothers, it tends to be not all mothers are women. For fathers, it tends to be men are toxic and don't deserve to be celebrated.
Well,
I kid you not.
That was
like the case in Spain last year or something.
No, it's not inclusive enough. And the irony is there's nothing more warm. Like we know, again, getting back to the gay thing, we have several lesbian couple friends with kids and one gay couple. And in the lesbian case, both of them are moms. And in the gay couple, one's called a mom, one's called a dad. And there's actually something warm about using the traditional terms in non-traditional relationships. That's what the irony is. There's a warmth, a fuzziness, a feeling of goodness by using those traditional terms in non-traditional environments. And we're screwed. The world
It's not just that, Paul. I know a few couples myself, and in most cases, one will take on that role.
Well, there's that too. Yes.
That's what I mean. Like they actually will take on the more fatherly role or the more motherly role.
That's why they make that split.
But in that, what they are doing is trying to create the more traditional roles and values in that. And that's what I was getting at. Is like, this is a totally different campaign. And Six sent me this here too in the background.
And this is a new thing because of a certain group of people who want to be on beer cans. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Well, here's the thing is I'll actually give Miller a little bit of a pass on this because their whole thing about this was for Women's Month. Right? At least they used real women from what we could tell compared to some other.
And we also have the person behind the campaign. So again, thanks to Six. What would we do without Six? For sending this to Tom. Sent an article here. Oh, I can't wait to dig through this in the next video. I'm already planning. But the person behind this campaign that we just watched. Can you guess what kind of a name we'll be dealing with here? Like, could it be a man? Could it be a woman? An experienced dude in marketing? What say you? No, it's an Elizabeth Hitch. It's the person behind this campaign.
And who is Elizabeth Hitch?
Well, she's another Miss Heinrichheit. That's who she is.
And I would just like to tell the audience watching us that Six is a woman. So, just want to tell everybody that all this good research.
Well, and this might be the worst.
She turns shit into good shit.
You know what? They could have done this ad without shredding the babe pics. if they're doing a celebrating Women's Month, it could have been, did you know that women brewed the first beer and then just went through it, and let's support women brewers. Nothing wrong with that.
I have a bigger problem than the sexism part, Paul. I'm a historical person when it comes to ads and preservation of classic things like that. To me, that is tantamount to just destroying history if you're really doing this.
No. So, but I'm saying the ad would have worked better without adding the let's destroy the sexy girls.
Oh, I get what you're saying, but I'm just saying in general.
Their ESG points if that wasn't there.
Sure, there would, because they're talking about women brewers and supporting women brewers, which we absolutely should. I mean, I think it's a great idea. The basic idea of that ad is actually really good.
That's what I was saying. I have no issue with the ads ideas other than destroying the old ads to make that's the part I have an issue with.
I agree with Tom completely, because you know what that is? That is judging relatively.
It's like Burke burning, for fuck's sake. Yeah, sorry.
Judging from the relatively recent past from a moral point of view of current values. The exact same way that these modern day totalitarians and fascists hopefully will be judged by history in the not too distant future. They are making themselves judges over previous history and deciding this wasn't good enough, and we need to deal with this and change things going forward in a more Puritan, less fun fashion.
And I have another reason why. I have another reason I think why they covered up their faces beyond just wanting to pay them script doctor. Because you know damn well half these women probably be like, no, I was happy about that. I got paid good and I look good. Because what has happened 9 times out of 10 whenever they tried to ask any of these women who've been in Playboy before how they feel about it, didn't they feel, used and all that shit? They're like, fuck no, I looked gorgeous. I wish I could look so good, they would say. They've even asked other women, like, what did you feel about doing this nude scene in movies? It's like, I love to see that. I wish I could look that good still, they'd say. Half the time, that's what they fucking say. They're not against this stuff. In fact, I bet you half of those women in those ads would flat out say, no, why are you shaming me for being in those ads? I was happy to do that.
Well, that's probably why they blurred the face.
That's what I was just thinking. It had nothing to do with paying them.
You could get potentially a bunch of women saying, that's me. I was happy to do that. Happy to get a paycheck. Or maybe one of them's a dude now. We just don't know.
Well, see, and that's my point exactly, is I think it had less to do with not paying them. And they didn't want to risk somebody asking any of those women and then them coming out. Because how many headlines could you see that with? Like, yeah, no, I'm all for this. I made a living off of this.
Well, give them credit for running for the hills so quickly.
Well, I will say this. I guarantee you there are some men out there that will be able to identify who those women are without having to look at their face.
I'm not going to say you're wrong, script doctor. In fact, a lot of men probably still have them on their walls.
That's right. I saw her at the monster truck rally in Arizona.
Damn right. I got her autograph.
Esther. I got Esther. She autographed my butt. It was great.
One of my friends he's a very tech porn, kind of guy like Chato. And but he's also really into cars. He's more of a gearhead than anything else. And his entire garage is decorated in these old beer posters,
right,
way back. I mean, so again, and this guy, he's got a fridge in his shop, a full-size fridge full of beers that he loves to drink, and all these posters and everything else. And it's just some of these guys love the advertising. Obviously, they're looking at it for a particular reason.
Well, there's a collector's market too, culture.
Oh, I know. Believe me, I know. I actually have an original Coors mirror from a saloon that's actually up in this library room at the moment. But I think I'll probably see if I can sell that now. But I look at
don't sell it to them.
No, it's a relic of something that was once pure. So hold on.
Right.
Maybe so. But I look at a lot of these moves by these companies, and to me, it looks. I don't know if you mentioned this while I stepped away for a moment, but this looks perfectly orchestrated, right? It looks like these things were timed to go somewent together.
Well, I did address that,
you
actually.
did miss that. Yeah, we actually got a couple articles that this is all about Women's Month. Yeah.
And so it's rather coordinated, but at the same time, I mean, now that this is coming to light in a big way, I mean, I would watch the stock of Miller trend. I mean, first and foremost, the only reason they were able to make their last quarterlies was because of the significant price increase they'd gone under it during that quarter. And, you're starting to see, beers, as you guys were mentioning, be less consumed. People are drinking less alcohol. Script Doctor brought it up, and perhaps that'll help people's decision making in the future. But I look at this, and I think it's I still think it's beyond coordinated. And if you want to level the playing field, what you do is you bring out this commercial that obviously aired in March, to harm Molson Coors. So, the stock's trending downward already today. I mean, I'm not
I love it.
Wow.
Well, and I can't imagine that we are the ones talking about this to make them do this shit. Like, look, I get it. We got over almost 2,000 people watching, but somebody else brought this up. That's why they tore that shit down.
Yeah, that's how we noticed it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, if you have, first of all, the Daily Wire, which is one of the first places I saw this morning. I mean, they made sure it was everywhere for a reason.
Fantastic.
Basically, I think they were hoping that the Dylan Mulvaney thing was going to take all the air out of the room while they were quietly trying to sweep this under the rug today.
Well, it didn't work.
It just didn't work. Yeah.
You know what? I'm kind of like thinking that people have a very special relationship with their alcohol. I mean, just look back to what happened during Prohibition a century ago, and now we have this, which, like, history doesn't like repeat itself, but it does in a sense rhyme, because during Prohibition, I mean, there were
George Lucas was right.
Changes because of it. I mean, the Kennedys, for instance, they became big by being bootleggers in the first place, and
then war profiteers. I mean,
yeah, that too. But here, ignoring that, now again, here is like, beer suddenly became part of like the political agenda of the day. It did so during Prohibition, and it's doing so again right now, because the whole movement against Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch, that it's a grassroots organic movement from the people. It isn't organized or anything. That is something that came from a people that had enough. And this thing right here, it's funny to see how this goes, but it's like, this is a little bit too male panel right now. It would be great with a female perspective on how empowering this commercial is, would it not?
That would be lovely.
Yes, I think so.
The same thing.
And the whole thing, I just want to say before we bring in our new guest, the thing with this, ugly women taking over these roles and stuff. I mean, aren't they the ones who benefited most from beer drinking? I just want to say. I mean,
wow.
Wow. But we have a very lovely lady in the back room here who's going to chime in on this right now. The one, the only Carolyn. How are you doing this morning?
Hey guys,
how's
it going?
Good morning.
So
laughing
I literally
over a 90-year resurgence of Prohibition, only this time it's from the customer's angle.
Yeah, I just watched that ad and I'm like, wait, what? Like, there definitely was a better way to go about that. They could have still been like, hey, we want to benefit women. Let's empower some badass women. Let's show off some of the women who are actually doing cool things in the brewing sphere. They wanted to punch down, and they just looked like a bully while they did it. And they just cut off a big chunk of, I mean, obviously women, beer is more of like a more masculine drink. But there's still, I mean, look at all the college girls out there. I was there. I used to have to drink a bunch of that shit. But
I just wanted to chime in. So did Alyssa Heinerscheid, the VP of Bud Light, who was complaining about how Bud Light was like this out of touch thing for college students and stuff like that, when there's pictures of her chugging alcohol from condoms and what have you not.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Woo!
There's a big difference between what you do and what you preach in her case.
That's just sorority behavior, Andre.
I'll grow up.
Look, I'm a firm believer every 6-pack should come with a free condom.
Honestly,
But
that
Dr.
would help.
Pepper almost came
That
Well-
makes more sense than you would think.
You know what? That's actually one way that Bud Light could salvage their image. Just like say that, okay, we're not sorry, we're not doing anything different, but here, now's a condom coming along with each six-pack. I'm sure that just for that, I would go a long way salvaging some of it.
I wear condoms
condom
on each
isn't
one of my
marketed
fingers
to-
because I believe in safe computing.
Yeah.
As
But
long as
anyway,
not one of the
Cara,
cheap
I
little
so
condoms
really
you get
interrupted.
from.
All right,
with,
one at a time here.
trans
One at a time
men,
here.
only condoms, then you're good to go.
I just want to
I
say
was just
that,
saying.
yeah, carry on, Cara.
Go ahead.
You know, I was just going to say I did not mean to rudely interrupt, so Cara, please carry on.
It's like as long as it's not one of those condoms you get from like the health department.
Oof.
Yeah.
Whew. But yeah, I just watched it right before I tuned in here. I was like, wait a second, like that's kind of shitty. And I don't understand why all these ads are going about the way of wanting to attack other like brands or part of their audience base. Like it doesn't make any sense. I don't know if they're trying to do like the
I can answer that.
well, obviously they are a little backwards with their thinking on the marketing team or whoever's in charge. But that's like the one thing you want to be is apolitical as a brand. That way you can bring in as much money and as many people from every side as you can. But you don't see that anymore. So many people are just trying to be like, well, look at me, look at all my virtue, and
Well, look at who they're
all
hiring.
this.
Yeah, but look at who they're hiring out of marketing school.
But they're fractionalizing everything. Again, it comes down to dividing everything into its own little checkboxes, even down to the news, right? Because they did that with the major news channels. So it's all about dividing your own audience and kind of carving it up into your own little fiefdom. Entertainment's doing that. We're seeing that in a variety of different ways. Unfortunately, there's not something to compete with the majority of the studios at the moment, but there will be. And somebody's going to have to lean into, catering to the largest possible group for a change. And I think you're right, Kara. I think that they've targeted the smallest possible groups.
Yeah, it's nano marketing instead of micro marketing.
Yeah, and like I actually used to room with a girl who I think she still is a promo girl who used to go to these events and promoted these different drinks, beers, all that kind of stuff. I think she still is like one of the higher ups there now.
Yeah, because what you're talking about, Kara,
good money.
Oh yeah.
I was just gonna say, for those who don't know because I was kind of referring to this earlier, all these girls that are in the ads and stuff, they don't just do the ads. A lot of times they go on these campaigns all over the place, like what Paul was saying earlier too, is like these, fairs and truck rallies and everything else, concerts and whatnot, and they get paid for that on top of it all. So it's not like,
I mean, look at freaking NASCAR trying to take away the
NASCAR, yeah,
the flag girls. Like it just like it does not compute. It just the way marketing is going nowadays is so backwards. It's just,
it's been backwards for 18 years at least. That I first noticed it when I started in Hollywood, where you give them a premise for a really cool movie that you think is really cool, and they're like, yeah, we don't know how to sell that. Like no marketer would ever reject doing work. I mean, even if they couldn't sell it, they at least take your money. They wouldn't do that in my case or in these other cases for other writers that I worked with. They're like, yeah, we just can't do our job. Bye. It's like bewildering.
I don't know. It's frustrating. As soon as I saw that, I was like, yeah. F1 got rid of them. NASCAR's getting rid of them. Even the UFC, I think, is trying. Well, I don't know if Dana White will
how
do
are we
that.
supposed to know what round we're
The ring
in?
girls, exactly. Like my sister was a ring girl.
What's really interesting is that the F1 drivers, their girlfriends are all ugly. That's the one thing that you notice, is that you check out the girlfriends of all the F1 drivers and they all look like those beer makers in the ad.
But they must have great personalities.
Yes, that's correct. And
I mean, you can be homely and still be awesome.
No, I totally agree. But clearly that's not one of their check boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what the folks out in the chat are saying about all this, because we got a few people talking about this out there. We got let's start with this one here from Dash Attack. If you want to grab that one, Andre, while I look for more, just in case.
Certainly. Dash Attack says for $5. Unpopular opinion. Miller Lite is woker than Budweiser. A limited gay beer versus attacking your audience and history. Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Well, Coors
but,
Light.
let's not forget the Alyssa Heinerscheid interview. I mean, I would say that Heinerscheid attacked her audience worse than this commercial, but I see where you're coming from there.
Like Miller, so Coors, queer light, Coors Light. That's a Freudian slip. Very popular beer in the queer community. In fact, I remember because. For reasons I'm not going to, never mind. Coors, the head of Coors, was a very anti-gay individual, but then they found out that Coors Light was very popular in the bars, in gay bars. Then they completely flipped. So this is one of the reasons why capitalism works, because it can take.
Oh, capitalism is a quick cure for racism. Oh,
yes. Capitalism can be a very quick cure for racism. It's an interesting story.
I hate those folks. What? They're buying my stuff?
I love
them.
That's right.
It's true though.
Yeah.
you see who's spending their money on you versus who's just talking out of their ass.
Pretty much.
And then you should.
We're trying to teach Disney that capitalism is good.
And then Andrew Etsy says, "Big up, Andre, thumbs up." I'm in doubts that that's a woman as well. Well,
apparently it was. So my apologies to woman in the commercial, whoever you may be. But you have to be fair. We can never assume anything these days, especially not in a commercial like that.
The investigative examiner says behaviors are going to have to change, and this is one thing we're going asking. Oh, I can't read this morning. One thing we are asking companies, you have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors. Larry Fink on his ESG cartel.
Yes,
this leads into the ESG stuff. Yeah.
Larry Fink, for those that may wonder, is the CEO of BlackRock.
Yep.
And he is one of those that are really, really pushing for this. And to answer like the question you had earlier about why are they doing this? Because they want to rewrite history. Mm-hmm. That's part of the ethics mission of BlackRock, to rewrite all of the troubles of history so that they never happened. I mean, you even have had BBC journalists say this in defense of like when they make some queen in the past black or add diversity that was never there in historical dramas. Oh, because that's how they wish the past was. That's how they're going to portray it. So yeah, that's why.
Yeah, and then WIFT, what's your first thought, says, we learned to brew beer before we learn how to form as a civilization. Yeah, beer's been a part of our history as long as history.
Yeah, and I do not believe that it was exclusive to women. I'm going to need some community notes on that claim.
I can guarantee you the first fermented whatever somebody came by, some guy goes, I'll give you $5 if you try it.
Yes.
That is how it started. That is exactly how it started.
Yeah, I mean, we had to figure out what was poison and what wasn't, and we usually got the dumbest guy to do it.
Let's get this driest plant we've ever seen before and see if we can turn it into liquid.
Yeah. And chances are they just stumbled across it like that. Like, that's my point. And like somebody's like, kind of smells good. Hey, Frank. Yeah, Frank will eat anything.
The earlier beer did not have twist top. That's how they know it's early.
Yes. Yeah, you had the pop top still.
That had to have a bottle opener, which they hadn't invented yet. That was the biggest invention.
Along with the invention of the bottle of beer came the bottle opener.
Fermentation was magical, and it is kind of what started people settling in communities, because they couldn't move around if they needed to be near the plants that, you know, they could turn into booze
stuff.
Yeah,
usually booze.
And my understanding is that beer came before wine even.
I wouldn't be surprised. And like I said, it probably was on accident, right?
Oh,
like,
sure, all this stuff is an accident. A lot of this
because
stuff.
they probably had some hops stored somewhere or something, or like they just come across them and like they had been sitting in water for long enough, and it just from there it all kind of just went.
I've always felt sorry for the guy Civilization sent out to check which mushrooms were poisonous.
That's what we were just talking about, Frank.
Frank, yeah, send Frank out.
Yeah,
He'll eat anything.
I'll send you something with that.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're going to be losing Kara here because she actually has other work to do for a very important individual.
Let's use Kara as
who has a comic book that's out there that is
I've got a big
blowing
kid
up.
job now.
You got what now?
I got a big kid job now. I work in comics.
I thought you said a baking shop now. I'm like, boy, you got another job too? Jesus.
No, but I did bake some really good banana bread yesterday. So
Ooh, nice.
Better bring some tonight. I'm a fat kid. I like stuff like that.
I'll sit here and eat it in front of you just to piss you off.
No, it's almost the same. It's kind of like when you quit smoking and people smoke around you.
I have a fantastic recipe for gluten-free banana oatmeal oat pancakes. It's fantastic.
Ooh, pancakes sound great.
Pancakes.
But yeah,
yes, but hopefully hopefully we'll get you tonight, Kara, on Toxic Femme. If not, we love having you here.
I have a headache starting to like slip in right through here, so I'm hoping that it goes away before Toxic Femme tonight. I just feel it starting. This weather has been crap lately.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of the show, and I'll be lurking.
Awesome sauce. Thank you for hopping in and giving us your 2 cents on this.
Take care, Kara.
Bye, guys.
Cool.
Thank you. Then Johnny B. Good says, these women are the reason men drink beer. It's called beer goggles. That's what I said.
I would like to try to avoid that.
Yeah, well, you know. And then Spaceman was all for Mr. Gore's, I think was it a rant or a speech this time?
A rant.
A reach?
Yeah,
somewhere between a rant and a speech. I don't know. Space Monkey, here, Mr. Gore. I agree. Here, Mr. Gore.
This is again the war on hot people.
Right.
I'm tired of it. It's you know, it's these average women that you saw in that. You know, they're angered towards women who are that men are attracted to, and I don't know. I don't get it. It's always worked in advertising. This trend is bizarre to see happening like before our eyes. We're just reversing. And not only that, it's not just like, you know, ceasing that type of advertising, but actually now trying to clean it up in the past. Like you've done something wrong. I can tell you of a network that was really embarrassed by their past and how that turned out. Recent network. Maybe someone will help me out with that. But yeah, no, it's stupid. So you said we did this bad thing in the past. You're bad for liking it. I mean, and you mentioned, who is it mentioned? Your friend who's a mechanic. You go into any mechanic, you know, garage, and there's going to be a standee or posters of hot women, you know, posing with mufflers on a calendar.
Yeah, my son works in a shop, and there's in the lunchroom are posters from Germany of women holding mufflers in different positions, covering different parts of their
hanging on to Borla exhausts and everything else. Yeah, I mean, everybody's seen it.
Well, and women needed to be happy that the reason we have fancy sport cars and stuff like that is because of them. Otherwise, men would just have monster trucks.
Well, you were saying
we have no use for sports cars.
Paul, you were saying also, God, I forget what, maybe another live streamer you brought it up. The idea of being a gearhead.
Yeah.
You know, basically, you know, if you look at Star Wars, simply, it's the story of a farmer and a trucker.
Yep.
You know, it's being a gearhead, taking that thing that I mean, George Lucas was a gearhead. Literally, exactly. American Graffiti is the story of his youth. You know, so that's something that I think is being lost in a lot of science fiction. The idea
the first Star Wars would never have existed without George trying to solve the technical problems of making it.
Right. Like, and even just not just a gearhead, this starship porn. I know, like Picard, like that 9th episode where we see the Enterprise. It's such an amazing moment because the Enterprise is a character. It's that
Well,
location.
not only that, you know, what's funny is, Chris, we make fun of how like whiny and stuff all these years. We've, you know, poked fun at Luke in the first film. Now he's a lot more manlier than a lot of these people. That's what's sad.
Funny, right? It's
I
just,
know.
I just don't have a problem with the fine. You know, I mean, when you look at the Marvel movies, all the men, the beefcake, you know, they've all got to take their shirts off. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. The idea of being ashamed by that and then trying to right the wrongs of the past, fuck off.
Well, to me, the biggest offense is there's all these organizations trying to jerry rig the natural order of things for inclusivity and diversity, where there's just things happen from an evolutionary perspective and from an industrial interest perspective, and that there's more guys who are interested in engineering. I'm just reading an article here on Food and Wine from 2001, where they talked about over 93% of brewery owners are white, according to latest data. They put together an inclusivity group and have tried to get more women involved in brewing beer since 2018. And the final result is there's still 93% of brewery owners are men. Fuck them. Like, how come we didn't move the needle? We tried to move the needle. It's because guys like brewing beer.
It would be the same thing if, like, tomorrow you said we're opening up the industries because we need more women in sewage work.
Yeah, we're trying to force more women into brewing beer, and it's just not working.
Maybe they just don't want to. And I think
that was my whole point.
You
yeah,
can't
Chris.
say that, Chris. You can't say that just because they don't want to.
I mean, how do you know?
Look, there's, you know what, people pursue their passions.
Correct.
And, you know, let me say this. I've hired plumbers quite a bit. I've never seen a female plumber. They generally don't exist. You're dealing with shit clogged toilets. It's not a sexy job for a woman. It's a job that pays very well. And you can build a business, a plumbing business quite easily. It's not a job that a woman's attracted to. Fine. You know, I mean, look, you go to the perfume counter at Macy's, it's women and gay men. Let's get straight to them at the perfume counter. Stop trying to force behaviors on people. It's ridiculous.
Well, this is and they are crying that they haven't been able to make this change. It's, you know, things happen. I mean, from an evolutionary perspective, basketball started off as a white sport. Now it's predominantly a black sport. Who's complained? Are we having diversity councils on to add more white people to basketball? It's a meritocracy. The best people get in. That's one of the good things about sports, is that at least, you know, you can't do a diversity thing in sport. Baseball used to have way more black players. Now they're Hispanic. What happened? Like, things happen for a reason. And just talking about welding, I ran across a woman who is a extremely good welder. And if you're a TIG, there's the Megan TIG welder that does aluminum. Yep. She could be making $150 an hour in the or plus in the pipe welding business. She doesn't. She chooses to make decorative things. Yeah. She chooses to make art. She is as good as the guys, but she doesn't, and she chooses not to make buckets of cash. I'm not going to judge her for that, but this is a survey of one. So,
well, to your point, Paul, and to Chris's point, I mean, you're right. Like most women, like, what do I want to do? I want to start a hair salon or a nail salon, right? And at that hair or nail salon, the person you always go to is always the gay guy because they're the best one. It's just like when you work in an industry like, you know, whether it's construction or, like I brought up, sewage and other things before. Once in a great while, you'll see a woman working in that industry. But guess what? That woman is more of a dude than any of the other guys there. She's got bigger balls than the rest of them. This is the one you don't want to fuck with because she'll set you right. I'll tell you right now. That's the thing, is there are roles, but at the same time, people sometimes they break those roles, right? It's just the idea to try and force people out of those roles, though, is ridiculous.
The change in society is that now if you go to a mechanic shop and a qualified woman wants to work there, they can't be discriminated with or to. That is the societal change. That is what happened from the 60s on, is that you can't discriminate against those non-standard individuals who want to work in that
and
job.
I haven't seen a lot of that. And the few times we have had any kind of discrimination like that in the last 20 years, it's been big news, right? So that's where I don't, and you know, and that kind of brings it to the
in my
main
son's
point.
shop, they have a woman apprenticing. She's very good. She just can't handle the truck tire changes. She just can't. She's too small. Can't deal with.
And that's not necessarily a guy or a woman thing too, because I'm sure there's other places where
it could have small guys. Yes,
you could have a small guy, he can't do it either.
Right, absolutely. Although,
and that was my point.
They do have a guy who's shorter than her, but he works out, and he can lift like 500 pounds. He has no problem with truck tires.
Well, let's get back to what the audience is saying here.
So the point is, we're not discriminating against anybody who wants to do these non-standard jobs. That is how we need to deal with things.
Wait, but Paul, are you saying that there's a difference between men and women?
Maybe.
He's canceled now. See you later, Paul. No, I'm just kidding. Boom, canceled. We need that.
And it's a good thing. We need to be supportive of each other with the skills that we present, the unique skills that we bring.
No, absolutely. And that's kind of the point I was getting at is,
yeah,
just trying to force people into roles, though, is going to be a problem. Mr. Tickle Trunk sends in $5.50 Canadian and says, the company wants to make money selling beer, but marketing departments are in all the cult. The customer base doesn't like misogynists or misandrists. Yeah, we don't like either extreme. That's true. At least most people don't.
And we have some extremists in those marketing departments.
Yes, we do. And then
Tipping Barnes, good at marketing.
Tipping Barnes says that those companies are doing more for sobering the country than prohibition ever did. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, it's really weird. I mean, we have this homegrown temperance movement. And they're making it. The beer industry
actually, I'm not so sure, because from what I've seen after the whole Bud Light thing, more sales have gone to the competitors than were lost by Bud Light, meaning net consumption is actually up.
Yeah. Shum says this is from March before Mulvaney problem. Yeah, it must have flew under the radar, basically.
Under the radar.
And also Mulvaney being a bigger deal, and on top of that, Bud Light being a bigger beer, at least at that time.
But don't worry, they'll get their day in the sun right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I'm sure that we're not the only ones talking about this. That's why they're stripping the internet of all this stuff. I would imagine that's
I mean, and if there's one of these commercials, there's versions of this that may be out there we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's some other companies that had something similar as well. But let's move on here.
Yep.
Investigative Examiners also points out that March was Women's Month, FYI. Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Well, you wouldn't know that if you didn't really pay attention, because you would have thought it was Trans Women's Month. But anyway, were you gonna say something, Script?
I just forgot last month was Women's Month. I feel ashamed.
You should.
You should have sent flowers.
You should have felt ashamed just because.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Dash Attack says I sexualized my own avatar with 18+ artwork. Ladies, get over it. Sexy men and women don't hurt anyone. Well, if they got whips, they could.
Oh, hey now.
Yes. And then Budget Kaiju says anti-good-looking men equals hot phobic. Yes.
Oh, there we go. Chris,
Hot
there's our
phobic.
expression.
Hot phobic. That's a word. You need to feel shame. You're hot phobic. You're a hot phobe. Oh my God. Yeah. It's so ridiculous. So I'm it's just, I don't know. Like, and also we were talking about all these jobs. Look, I worked in TV for like 20 years. Okay. Everyone that works in the hair and makeup department is a woman or a gay man. I've never seen any other variant on that.
We know of one. But
I know of two, actually.
But
they also work in creature makeup.
Samples.
I was gonna say also at least one of them works in creature makeup as well.
Yeah,
so
that's the one I was referring to.
Yeah,
creature makeup and makeup and hair are kind of two different things.
Well,
that's similar but
that
different.
got in within the last 10 years that are into creature makeup, but they also do hair and beauty stuff as well. But they are very straight men.
Well, that's because there's a gossip quotient.
Yes.
Oh yes, we've been told several times that if you want to know all the dirt of what's going on, just sit in on the makeup and hair department one day, and you'll find out everything you need to know.
Well,
the Neil can't keep a secret.
No, that's the best. That's the best seat in the house is getting your makeup and hair done.
But,
The gossip hole,
Mr. Gore
Keep
was
going.
making a point.
Sorry, keep going.
No, my point was pretty much made, but I'm just tired of all these hot phobes. They're phobic towards hot people. They're being discriminated against. This sounds like a bit that Paul is going to make a video.
Yeah,
he is.
Sounds good.
Sounds like an SNL sketch from like the late 80s.
Yeah.
Are you a hot person? Are you being discriminated against because you're too beautiful? Like Phil Hartman's narrating it.
It's just disheartening. I mean, everything from like, I'm watching this Cleopatra show and I'm like, the woman is so unattractive and unappealing. She's a short, average looking woman, and there's nothing wrong with that. But like, they didn't even like look, I have seen it happen in hair and makeup departments. You can take someone walks in looking very average and boom, throw on the makeup, little hair, man, they walk out like stunning.
Yeah.
So,
well, same with Blood Origin. I mean, it was a shitty show, but why make the female lead so homely?
Yeah.
Now I'm writing this SNL skit that Script just talked about in my head, where it's basically this company that, if you're feeling too attractive, we can ugly you up today for only $19.99. That's right. One of our specialists will fuck your hair up for free too. And then Paulie wanted me to point out that the lowrider community is against this, evidently.
Wow.
Up in arms about.
Is against what? Sorry.
This anti hotness stuff. This fat
the hot phobic.
The hot phobicness.
You can't read a car magazine without seeing like a hot woman on the cover of a car magazine, and
or a Chopper magazine.
Well, and that's the thing, is these istophobes would have us think that, we're forcing, like that woman was forced into taking that picture. Fuck no, she jumped up there and she's like, take my picture. Like she wanted to be in the picture. Like that's the point, is like these cars attract women.
It sucks because I've been going to San Diego Comic-Con since '89, and there used to be a thing. They called them booth babes, and it was great. It was a very attractive woman, usually wearing something low cut with large breasts. And I'm thinking, okay, I am going to that booth. We're going to have some inconsequential conversation, and I will probably buy a comic book. But no, booth babes, that thing doesn't exist anymore. The idea of a booth babe, an attractive woman, but you were pointing out earlier, Paul, that now that like they actually have them where they actually know something, right? Like they're not
they've known it for a while now, and they that wasn't enough to help them survive.
Even that, it's done. Like, look, let me just walk in. You see a bunch of women dressed hot, at a booth. like, just why
Chris,
is that?
Listen, wasn't it like 2-3 years ago at one of the cons where they had said they weren't going to allow certain women to dress up so scantily with certain things, and like a bunch of because there's actual women who do this for a living,
cosplayers.
Yeah, who go from convention to convention. They were all pissed about it. Did I remember that correctly, or something like that? Wasn't that it?
Look, there was a time where this thing had to change. I remember the early Comdexes where I went to the Hewlett-Packard booth in Las Vegas, and suddenly their smoke machine would come down from the ceiling, and 3 women in tight silver lame outfits would rappel down, and and they're all aliens, and they said, "We come from the future and we are bringing you Hewlett-Packard Unix." And all the guys are going, "Whoa, look at." But the girls didn't do anything else but rappel down from the ceiling in these tight silver lame outfits. I mean, this was the low point, honestly.
And Paulie makes some good points in the background here. He said also a lot of these women want to be actors, make their money being brand ambassadors every weekend. Many of them are like single moms and stuff like that, and probably putting themselves through college and other ways. And this is, good money for not a lot of work for them. I'm sure that's something that's being taken away.
Kind of objectifying women.
But it's the point that I think Paulie's getting across here is these women are proud to be able to do this kind of work for the kind of money they're making and being able to.
We need to get one of them on in a bikini now to testify.
If you're out there and you're listening,
yes, and you're
if
a
you're
booth babe,
spokeswoman, and you're a booth babe or a spokeswoman, whatever you want to call it, we are here to support you, and we would love to have you on. Yes, indeed.
That's right.
But
even if you did it 30 years ago, and you're not maybe as good looking as you used to be, but you want to talk about what a great career it was, come on now. We're waiting.
My tits were so firm in 1985.
Now they're down to my waist.
Strike, burn it all down. Says beer sales are down, divorce is up. We found a cure. Oh Lord. Then Mr. Tickle Trunk says, to Chato's point today, the lipsticks and bulls have to fall in line with the cult. You know, normal LGBTQ people are like the rest of us. Activism used to mean something. Now it's hateful, and only activists are the community.
I have noticed at the couple of parties I went to that the lipstick ladies are, you know, there's not as many, but that's what the bulls want. Here, I'm an expert on this subject.
Yeah, you sound like you've been there before.
I have been there many times.
200 Watt Studio says Bud Light attacked their customers by saying out of touch fratty boy culture. It wasn't just the Mulvaney thing. Yes, exactly. But that's the thing. And it's kind of the same thing here. It's like they could have had some fun with this. Like we wrote 3 better commercials this morning that had a similar, you know, similar themes, or at least could have said the same kind of messages, only better. I agree.
Yeah, and you can do it lightly. It doesn't have to be so overt.
And Snowdub's here. How you doing, Snowdub? Says, I have faith in the next generation. Snow Kid is almost 13, and he and his friends hate woke stuff, especially the gay agenda. They have having it. Much love. Well, I'm sure even a lot of the gay community would not like it to be called the gay agenda at this point.
Yeah, no,
like there's a huge divide.
Massive,
it's more of an
divide.
LGBTQ
there's
agenda,
a huge divide between the LGB and the TQIAP plus.
Good for you.
Yeah,
he's studying.
Good for you.
Yeah,
it's a strange time when 0.05% of the country is wagging the dog.
Well, there's another group called Gays Against a Certain Type of Individual that's also gaining ground as well. So, I mean...
And you also have, like, those of the LGB that do want to separate themselves from everything that comes after, which they feel have destroyed their movement.
I think it'd be really helpful if one of us came out, just so we could have a more diverse panel. Please, just admit it. I know who it is. One of you is. Just admit it.
Any volunteers?
Frank.
I will say, though, Script, I was watching your Conan live game streaming.
Yeah.
And your voice just does not match Conan.
Well, I'm not playing Conan.
No, you need to have
me
come in and do it.
No, I'm not.
Which character were you playing?
It's my own character in there. Conan runs another bar on the other side of the map. I'm not Conan.
Okay, I couldn't place it. Every time
that's okay.
Conan was wielding his axe, I heard your voice, and I thought,
yeah, it just doesn't sound right. If I was Conan, no.
I will destroy this mountain.
Exactly. Yeah, that doesn't fit Conan at all.
No.
However,
I'm going
like
to
Conan,
bring this
I have
mountain to
started
the ground.
a bar franchise in the game, and we're building our second bar venue as we speak.
I don't like competition.
I mean, not really as we speak. I'm not playing now.
But I do believe this is a really good time for making a proper beer establishment and using hot women to advertise it within the audience age.
There are lots of hot women in the bar we made. We call it Timmy Hooters in honor of Canada's Tim Hortons and the restaurant Hooters.
Let's be honest. There's no lacking attractive women in many smaller venues. It's the big stuff that they've lost their job. NASCAR and F1 and things like that.
Well, and as Pilgrim Media points out here, politics is downstream from beer marketing, and it's going to end up destroying these bigger beer companies at the end of the day.
At a time when they are trying to scramble for more money, they've had big difficulty in growing their brands. They reached the apex, and then they just can't get any higher. And look, the way they were able to do it, I'll say it before, I'll say it again, the way that these beer companies were able to show numbers to investors was with small price increases. That's the only reason that Molson Coors was able to have a good quarter last quarter. We'll see if they continue to go with that strategy. But if this has the same kind of contagion effect as the Bud Light commercial did with that influencer, yeah, I mean, that's completely up to the audience here and anybody else who's seen this, because if that happens, then their goals are going to get thrown out the window.
Yeah, Samuel Adams could have a commercial. We're still burning our witches.
Well, and so in Yingling didn't even have to do anything. I think they put a flag on their beer recently. So it's like, hey, we're here, drink us, and it's good beer. Yingling is good.
Shit. Adam Wolford says the ancient Egypt made beer before the Greeks made wine. Also, there are 127 women ran beer making companies. By there is nearly 9 to 10 men companies. Okay,
9 to 10,000 men.
Yeah.
I mean, like that thing is like 93% of the microbreweries are still run by men, no matter dudes. Because it's also gear porn.
It is. Well, look, I mean, it's that engineering thing you talk about all the time. We like I need to mix this much hops with this much barley, and I need to have this amount of wheat, just a little bit, just enough that nobody's going to come in there.
Well, it's not just that; it's the machinery too.
It goes down to, wow, this one's got the full copper spigot. Whoa,
that's what I was talking about. Yeah, the machinery part of it. Yes.
Oh no, that too. But I mean, it's chemistry. I mean, it's creative chemistry. That's how you get good.
Well, it's where engineering meets chemistry. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they got it, and I'm sure, I don't know if it was a woman that built the first distillery or not. I don't know.
Wow. That's another.
A woman's behavior drove to a man building a distillery.
That's what I was thinking. What were you going to say, Chris?
No, it's just another annoying thing in that ad. In addition to shaming attractive women and then keeping them from receiving some residual for using their images. And they're turning it literally into shit.
Yeah.
They then throw, I mean, I don't know if it's true or not. The first people who brewed were women. So what? Give it to them. I'm sure it was, I don't know. Just, again, another rewriting of history to basically just promote some narrative. It's so annoying that, you see it. I think there's going to be, I know people keep saying, well, the pendulum's going to swing. Well, hurry, because please hurry. It's taking too long.
And different types of women are part of different societies. I mean, if you go to Oktoberfest in Germany, then a Zoftig woman who can hold 5 beers in each hand, well, okay, that's wife material.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, there's many of them.
And she's wearing a drundle. Is that the right word?
I don't recall right now the name for the female version. If there's some Germans
the outfit that they're wearing is the drindle, I believe.
I believe so. I'll take your word for it.
I have to, for science, go to the next Oktoberfest. So,
ActionCom says, wasn't this an Al Bundy episode? Quote: "Pretty women make us buy beer. Ugly women make us drink beer. Fiction has become real life."
Oh, that's funny.
That is from Mary with Child. I'm pretty sure I remember that episode. Yes. Hey, we got Jonas in the house. How you doing? I'm paying Midnight's Edge $5 to tell Chris Gore I want to be on defense for Disney Lucasfilm charge count number 4, the current day politicization of Star Wars by Disney. I'm still waiting to get on that.
Well, I here's how you can do that. And thank you, Jonas, for support of the Midnight's Edge channel. Just become a member of the Film Thread YouTube channel. If you become a member, you get access to our Discord. There is a Critics Court forum in our Discord. So if you want to be a part of it, you just sort of submit a video telling people, I want to be on the defense, I want to be on the prosecution, and what charge. And we're going through those. So
do it in your Morgan Freeman voice. You're a shoo-in.
Yeah. But no, Jonas. Yeah, that's how you do. Just join the channel. You don't have to be a member of the channel forever. Just 1 month. I think it's like $1.99.
I'm on the defense.
Yeah. I think you're a witness this week.
I'm a witness.
You're a witness for the defense this week. So it's going to be interesting on Wednesday, Critics Court, 1 p.m. Pacific time. Be there. Yeah, no, Tom, you've got an open invitation. There's the document that has all the charges. Kind of pick the one that you think you have a strength.
All right.
with.
I'll go through it today or tomorrow.
Go through it and, like, find the one. I think I sent you the Google Doc.
Yeah, I
which
think you did.
Updated a couple times. It's because real lawyers are helping us rewrite it so that it sounds like the language is all in legalese and it's, it's legit. So it's going to be weird. It's like, I feel like every episode is sort of we've been doing a series of pilot episodes, trying to figure out what the format works. It's basically a debate show. We get people who disagree.
Yeah, it's great. I've watched it.
Oh, thanks, man. Well, you're going to be on Wednesday, so I can't wait.
Trying to confirm the time.
Yeah, we're we're getting like different people on the team for the defense or for the prosecution, and then it's an open debate. So, yeah.
All right. Well, Wednesdays on Film Threat, and then DCB Titan says to put that ad in current discussion terms, it's the swamp beasts of Dagobah mad at the guys that prefer Twi'leks over them.
Yeah,
I guess that's one way of putting it.
It's just weird to see this anger turned into a marketing campaign. I mean. Yeah. You could imagine like a Mel Brooks, like history of thousands of years ago, that hot women have always been hated by less attractive women. And that rivalry continues and is manifested in now the complete wiping away of any marketing or advertising that has anything fun, clever, or sexy, and reject it all. Don't buy products. I don't buy products that support that. Screw it.
Yeah.
I could see a little sci-fi story where all the hot women get together to kill off all the not so hot women because they're tired.
Yeah.
Tired of not getting their jobs back.
Ram Bam 3. Go ahead, Craig.
It's just weird that, like, the idea of a booth babe, well, you can't do that. Like, what? I feel sorry for all these hot women.
Well, not just that, but they have dressed down. I mean, you showed that bikini picture with the lowrider, but I mean, the women manning or personing the booths, they've all dressed down and they're all more corporate, but they're pretty and they're knowledgeable, but they're still being run out of town.
Yeah. Yep. It's
and then Rambam 3000 says the only way to force people into two roles is violence. Yeah, that's one way of doing it. Yeah. And then we got Aikai Yamato. I'm sure I butchered that. I'm so sorry. Aki Yamato, I think that is maybe.
I think so, yeah. Aki Yamato.
Uglifying characters exclusively appears to in the West. Blind casting is excuse. The rest of the world is trying their best to cast both attractive and suitable actors. Well, not only that, it used to be that they wanted to put people in movies because people all over the world wanted to see attractive people in movies, right? Because wasn't that the whole thing that what was it, China or whatever was griping about before? Is they wanted to see movie stars, not these no names in these movies, like.
Yeah.
Well, but here's another funny thing. I just did a review of the Acolyte presentation for the April Disney rollout, and they had Jodie Turner Smith, which I went on the warpath with, which she claimed that Star Wars is a patriarchal, adventure, and she's so happy being a woman, changing everything about Star Wars. So I attacked her for that fallacy. But the thing is, on that stage, she probably spent 2 hours on her makeup and outfit and earrings and everything else and her glittery jewelry. Yet in the show, she's totally dressed down to look like a man. So that's the funny thing, is that her own personal perception is that of a booth babe.
Yeah.
But in the show, she's a guy. This is how dumb things are.
Yeah, we have a few more of these super chats that relate to this topic, but yeah. Casperia says, strike. This is towards him. It says, divorce is up. Beer goggles are wearing off with all these beer sales going down. That could be a problem.
Yeah, no, there's no shortage of beer.
Yeah. John Thomas says, moto racing tried to get rid of Umbrella Girls There was a backlash, so they settled for less sexy clothing. There you go. That's one way, I guess, of doing it. Then Bucky Cat brings up the biker rallies wouldn't be happy either. Miller Girls, Bug Girls all show up to Daytona Bike Week, Sturgis Bike Week, etc. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This all used to be a part of their promotion. They're basically killing part of their industry here. It's really weird. Robert says anti-attractiveness, attractophobia. That's another good one.
Very
I like that.
Arachnophobia.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Frank Marshall approves.
And you know what? Guys are such nerds that the women don't have to be showing cleavage. They just have to be pretty and tall and in heels, and the guys are going to go nuts.
And you don't have to necessarily even be tall. I mean,
no,
true. I mean,
a little thick.
As long as they're the right height to hold your beer, put your beer in their hand.
And well, if they're a little thick, there's ridges to hold beer.
Well, plus, I mean, even a short girl, you set it right on top of her head.
That's right. You're done.
Yeah. Yami Bliss says, I volunteer. I've been out for years. Oh, it's Frank. Hey, Frank. All right. Let's see here. What else we got here that has to do with the...
Shadow Dancer, the Red Mage, said for $10, in the history of alchemy, a woman is credited with designing the alembic, the heart of every distillation and evaporation apparatus. So the next time you raise a glass, thank a lady. Oh, there you go.
See, they could have done that in a way that would have been more interesting and give us that history.
Oh,
lesson.
Yeah.
But no.
And there's a rule in advertising, too. Just get across one idea.
Mm-hmm.
One idea and make that work. Multiple ideas kill ads.
But I would argue with you that they did have one idea. It was shit.
Yeah, I agree with
No,
culture
they had
here. There was
multiple
one idea. It was just a terrible one.
No. The women made the first beer. 2, support female microbrewers. 3, shit. 4, the objectified women of the past
buying
and shit on them, almost literally shit on them.
There's 4 concepts in there.
Yeah,
this is true.
But the overall theme was shit.
No, that's not my point.
Like I said, we didn't even really. I mean, we kind of touched upon it, but we didn't really bring up the fact that they are basically shitting on these women who worked for them in the past too.
True. Yep. That's and shredding them. There's a bit of violence.
Exactly. There's a lot of I don't like it. Like it is very kind of in poor taste. That's what I was getting at.
It is. It's
Yeah, I mean,
there's a way you could have done it was different. Sorry, go ahead, Coach.
Basically feeding them into the wood chipper, right?
Yep.
Oh God, yeah. No.
Yep. No, that's
And then John Thomas points out there was a Twilight Zone episode where I remember this episode where a hot chick was considered ugly by all the
I saw that.
All the ugly people, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Then of course you also have the whole deal with Munsters, but of course that was played as a joke there, Pilgrim Media says you can buy pro-wart pots online. Okay, well thank you. I didn't know that.
Yeah, wort is a process for making the beer. You have to create a wort.
Oh, okay, gotcha. 1984 Anti-Child Making League says Space Monkey 08999. Well, if that's what they want to call themselves, I guess.
And often being a good-looking woman is no party either, because you get some creepy guys
all over. Mm-hmm.
All over you. I mean, it's not
Paulus Places. Andre, please tell the boys about the advertising laws in Norway: age, beer, liquor, pharmacy, vis-a-vis America laws.
Yeah, sure. The laws as pertains to advertising alcoholic products, products with alcohol, and pharmaceutical products are the same. They're banned. Can't advertise them.
Same in
I'm
Canada.
surprised they're not more stricter here. I mean, they crack down big time on cigarettes, but they let beer go completely unchallenged. Oh, I think culture froze.
They can't show people drinking beer in Canada. They're just holding it up endlessly. Look at this glass. Whoa. Yeah. Beer. Nope. Can't drink it. Nope.
It's like they've just started also making a deal about people drinking in movies. It used to be for years it was smoking, but now just recently it'll be one of the things in the rating. Like if somebody consumes alcohol now.
Oh, I mean, it's just boring to have the main character always an alcoholic in movies. That's my gripe. Not the part.
No, but what I mean as far as like when it's rated, whatever.
Well,
but
you'd kill every Irish movie.
Well, because they also, the thing was, is they made it, the deal was, is the whole smoking thing came about. From that point forward, the MPAA said if there's smoking in your movie, it will be rated R. So that's why they ended up changing that bit. And now they're starting to crack down on drinking a little bit more too. But because, it used to be a drug use would get you an instant R rated, of course, or instant R rating, of course. But anyway, in advertising, cigarettes, dead. Almost everything else is under certain kind of pharmaceutical like laws and regulations. But as far as alcohol, they've had free reign forever. They've pretty much been able to do just about anything. In fact, I think that's where some of the more inventive commercials have come out of in that 80s 90s period of that. But moving on with topics, Camelbot Killer says he saw Grease in theaters, 8.5 out of 10. I'm assuming you mean the original 1978 classic film and not the new Pink Ladies show.
Yeah, because at Delta he would have given that an 8 out of 5 out of 10.
Yeah, but speaking of theaters, the movie theaters did have a strange weekend this last weekend. It seemed like I was one of the only people who seemed to think maybe, just maybe, Guardians of the Galaxy could pull it off for a second weekend. And not only did it pull it off, it did very well. In fact, it's the third lowest drop off for a Marvel film in history.
It's good.
It is, yeah.
Well, yeah,
that's the power of word of mouth. Sorry,
not
Paul,
just that, but a decent movie.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, so the box office was surprising this weekend with Guardians of the Galaxy doing well, and another film bombing. What was it called here? Some Book Club 2. So Club. There you go. Yeah.
The Book Club 1?
I guess. And it looks like it has a lot of famous women in it, actually. That's why I'm kind of surprised. But yeah. See, now the Book Club movie sounds like it'd be something for the ladies network. I can't remember what it's called.
Looking at the picture, it looks like something that really should be limited release. So I guess there's no surprise that we haven't heard about Book Club 1.
Yeah, but I thought that was Keaton. Yep, Mary Steenburgen, Candice Bergen, Jane Fonda.
Yeah, there's a market for that.
But it sure ain't the theaters.
No. I mean, we should be making more movies for a diverse age points, and yeah, I mean, but this is not going to make it big. This is up there with the football movie 80 and Brady or whatever.
Yeah, which
had that managed
to
do
same
well.
Actors in there.
Sorry, script. Yeah, that had two of the same actors, but it also managed to do much better than this. Obviously,
because it was about football, not books. No one reads books anymore.
True, unfortunately.
But yeah, so that's part of the news this morning.
And how did the other movie do about the period piece about the girl? And there was a movie. Oh, I can't remember the name of it. Dear God, something.
Oh, it's me, Margaret.
Dear God, It's Me, Margaret. That one.
Yeah.
When you said period movie, I thought you meant like a period piece, not literally a period piece.
No, I meant a period piece. It's dear,
like having a period.
About having a period. Yeah.
Rounded out the top 5 with 2.5 million.
Okay, so I think there was a hefty budget on that one too.
Well, it's from Bombsgate, and it's like a 30-year too late movie. Like Judy Blume hasn't been in vogue since like I was in school.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Culture. So we're here talking about the box office, my friend. Yeah,
they did trot out Dylan Mulvaney to promote that movie.
The Judy Blume one?
Yeah.
For reals? Or are you just kidding?
No, I'm not joking.
Oh wow, that surely didn't help it.
And Judy Blume was talking with Dylan about his periods.
Oh, good Lord. I hope you're being...
No, not joking.
No, he's not. He's not.
Wow.
And how the hell does It's Me, It's God, It's Me, It's Margaret get a movie made before any of the Fudge books do? That just makes no sense.
Or Ramona the Pest. That should have been
like many of her other more popular books. Like this, yeah. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Nobody went to see it, so.
Well, I saw it. I thought it was.
And what did you think, Mr. Gore?
Yeah, let's have your review.
I thought it was quite good. It's a type of movie that it's a coming of age story set in the 70s, very much of its era. and it's very good. It's a
well, that
kind
was
of
good. I was going to ask is if it was period appropriate for the book. Sorry, go ahead, Kurt.
well, it's you say the word period, that ties into the entire movie is about a girl getting her first period. That's what the story is. And I remember that was controversial when I was in school.
Right.
This book was controversial because in the book, it's about a girl getting her first period. So it deals with a lot of things that like, and it's funny. It's what's funny watching this movie. It's so great. It's a period piece that it's like the boys are boys, the girls are girls. They have sort of giggling interactions. They play spin the bottle awkwardly at a party. And it's a kind of movie you could not make a coming of age movie like this at all anymore. I don't know how you would do it, but it's very well done. It's like you can only talk about like boys and girls in a period piece, so to speak, like
right.
It's set
ancient history.
Yeah. It's like, and it's really good. I'm watching this film going, wow, like she has a really good relationship with her parents. There's a difference, she can talk about certain things with her mom that she can't talk about with her dad, even though her dad's pretty cool. Another big conflict in the movie is religion. Her father is Jewish, her mother is Christian, but they have chosen to not force any specific religion on her. And there's a conflict between the sets of grandparents who think that the lead character Margaret should choose a religion. She chooses to not choose, but respecting, her family has made different choices. It's such a good movie. I'm watching this going like, have we changed so much as a culture, as a people, that this just seems almost shocking in the sense that it's so normal, such normal family conflict. And this is now shocking. It made me really sad watching the film, thinking like, in the 70s, people just had conversations about things. And the stuff with the boys and girls in class is really funny. Like it's, the girls are like, and remember, we're going to have this club meeting and don't wear socks. It was like a weird thing. Like, okay, so she doesn't wear socks.
Well,
so
Judy Blume's written some great stories. And I'm glad to hear they didn't fuck with the story too much because I've actually read the book when I was in school. Go ahead, Chris, I'm sorry.
I never read the book.
I've read most of her stuff, actually.
It wasn't for me. I mean, her books were just,
they made us read them in school. Like we had to read for book group, for the class. Like, yeah.
I read the Beverly Cleary books, which were Henry Huggins, Ramona the Pest, stuff like that. Like, I think sometimes I would get Judy Blume and Beverly Cleary mixed up. And Henry Huggins, I liked. He had a dog. He had a newspaper route. He had adventures, and they're all like boy adventures. And then there was the spin-off from that, Ramona and Beezus. Beezus was...
Well, she was kind of the pre-Judy Blume anyway. See, like, that's the thing. I mean, you're a couple years older than me, but yeah.
Yeah, they wrote books that were kind of just similar themes. It was just young kid adventure books. And you could go off from that. Like, they just don't even do books like this anymore. But the movie is very innocent, but it deals with, difficult subject matter, conflicting religions, familial conflict, young girl growing up. And it's the young actress is the girl who played in Ant-Man. She was in the first Ant-Man. She was Ant-Man.
Scott Lang's kid?
Yeah, Scott Lang's kid. So she's very good in this. It's a very mature thing. She has conversations with God in her head. And it's so funny. You look at modern movies. Modern movies have become devoid of religion, devoid of, it feels like an independent film. And look, this movie was probably made for nothing. Okay. It was not made for very much money at all. So the fact that it didn't do well at the box office doesn't matter. Movie wasn't made for very much. It had to be like under 10 million. They got the period stuff right in the 70s. Looks great. Like the boys, they wear cutoffs and they come over to like mow the lawn for $5. Like I don't know. It like brought me
my
back.
memory of the books was it was a lot like the Diary of a Wimpy Kid at that time. That's about how popular they were among us in like the 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade era.
They were really popular, but
yeah.
It was like, it reminds me of like, oh my God, this completely captured like the era that I grew up in, the 70s, kind of, mid 70s, early 80s, like just.
Oh, they totally did. Yeah.
you know, you don't like, what do you do? Like, you know, we're all going to have a party, go here. Or like, you know, you have conversations, secret conversations on the phone. You got to keep them brief because you can't dominate the one phone line that the household has. Like it's a really good, solid, innocent coming of age movie that I think that also is relatable to kids now. It's not as if any of those things have changed. It's just that now we have some social engineering via our government-run schools that are pushing agendas rather than teaching kids the basics. And it was weird to see, like, you know, you see her interactions in school. She has this kind of cool teacher and she's a writer. She wants to write things as a kid. And it's God, it's just a really good, solid movie that captures an era that, like, oh my God, like this is just, it's and nothing is heavy-handed in it. She's just going through a really awkward, you know, she's preteen, she's not developing. There's a whole thing where, you know, and nothing is done in a leery, creepy way. The girls in there, they all want to get training bras because they're gonna have this club. They're gonna be the cool girls, right? By wearing no socks and wearing training bras. I mean, it's ridiculous and kind of funny, but it's just really well done. It's also not overly long. Every movie is 2.5 hours now. Guardians, my God, why is it 2.5 hours? It didn't need to be. That there's a much better movie. It's a very good movie, and there's an even better movie in there that's 30 minutes shorter. So much.
I'm kind of glad to hear that though, Chris, because I was afraid because I didn't see the Dylan Mulvaney marketing, but I saw some of the other marketing that went along with it, and I'm like, oh God, they just modernized Judy Blume, didn't they?
Dylan Mulvaney marketing, I never saw it. See, I don't pay attention
either.
to him. Don't pay attention to that person at all. Doesn't matter to me. I only see Dylan Mulvaney as it relates to things that sort of like the beer thing is just weird. I mean, to me, Dylan Mulvaney is Paul Rubens. He's playing a character. It's a modern. I
see what you're saying.
No, listen to the voice. It's Pee Wee Herman in a dress. There's footage.
I've seen some without him. Yeah, that it's not so bad.
Give me a second here. Dylan Mulvaney was on The Price is Right. On The Price is Right, he wins. He wins the showcase at the end. You can find this. It's on YouTube. He starts celebrating and does this crazy dance. This is when he identifies as a man. And Dylan Mulvaney does this crazy dance. He's doing the Paul Rubens dance, like mocking the moves. And when you listen to the voice of Dylan Mulvaney and you listen to Paul Rubens as Pee Wee Herman, same voice. Dylan Mulvaney's playing a character. He figured out a way to monetize it. When you look at Dylan Mulvaney's early TikTok, I only know this from other people's videos. I'm not like an expert, okay? I know this because other people have exposed this. But if you look at the early Dylan Mulvaney videos on TikTok, he was throwing stuff at the wall. He didn't know how. He just wanted to be famous. And he tried all these other things, all these different things to have sort of an area of expertise. Nothing landed until it was Days of Girlhood. So, and then of course, like marketers thought, I think Dylan Mulvaney's a funny entertainer, but a terrible spokesperson for almost any brand, probably death for any brand. So you're stupid to go down that pathway. I think it's something that, I think taking a blue collar, college frat working man's beer like Bud Light and connecting it in any way with Dylan Mulvaney is obviously a colossal mistake. We don't need to go over that, but this Judy Blume movie is very good, very wholesome, very innocent. I strongly recommend it. Was surprised how much I enjoyed it, and it's shocking because coming of age movies, it's a kind of movie Hollywood cannot make. Think about this. Think of the genres that woke culture has killed. The teen sex comedy. You cannot make a teen sex comedy now. You cannot.
I'll do you one better. They killed Marvel. Because that's why we're talking right now about like the weekend box office and Guardians of the Galaxy and how I was like, whoa, it's doing awful compared to what it should be doing, but it's doing fairly okay compared to how bad the Marvel brand is doing right now since Marvel went woke.
Exactly. So
that's kind of where we're at.
It will kill a genre. It's killed comedy at the box office, although there's that Jennifer Lawrence raunchy comedy coming out that looks pretty good, actually.
Yeah,
I saw the trailer. It looks raunchy. It looks like a lot of things in it are very wrong, and comedy does that. I like that. I feel like the thing is to reject all this stuff. Oh, you found the video. You should play it. I don't know if you can play it.
We can't.
I don't want to play too much
because
it's CBS and they're assholes. So yeah.
We'll get struck.
But he's basically, if you look up that video, he's doing Pee Wee Herman. He's doing Pee Wee Herman. I think Dylan Mulvaney is very funny. I think he's entertainer. What I don't like is pushing an agenda on children. I think that is wrong.
What he's doing is right now is
wrong.
It's partially performance art, but then he was lucked out and he became one of the ESG approved influencers. And that's why he's all place right now. He's being pushed by the same people who push ESG. Culture, you look like you want to chime in here.
Yes.
Oh no, I was Chris was talking about the Jennifer Lawrence film No Hard Feelings, I think.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
But so it sounds like Chris recommends It's Me, Hey God, It's Me, Margaret.
Chris recommends.
Or Are You There, God? That's what it is.
Yeah. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
I know, I read the book before. I should remember.
Based on a book that is probably not as popular as it should be, but it is sort of a classic coming of age movie, very wholesome, but deals with difficult topics like religion and going through puberty, which is a normal thing that every kid struggles. I mean, I'm watching this movie going, I can't believe this got made now. I mean, I could see this movie getting made 10 years ago. No problem. First of all, what took so long for that book to be made into a film? And secondly, that book being made and being not in any way, there's nothing that's affected it in terms of any sort of wokeness. I could see that happening. There's no there's just, it's a very wholesome coming of age film and very age appropriate. If there's a kid that's, about to enter that period in life or that stage of life, really a great movie to see because it opens up a lot of conversations, about religion and just going through puberty and just simple stuff that's, difficult at the time. And then you get through it and everything is fine. So
I remember, because like I said, that was my era growing up and they did try to do Judy Blume. I think they even did Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret as a TV movie too, because they did the Fudge Stories as like 2 backdoor movies to try and get like a Fox Kids morning show started that I think lasted for maybe a season, but it didn't go far. Like she just never could translate, it seemed like at that time. I don't understand what the problem was, but I'm glad they were able to get it now. So
it seems out of time and out of place watching it. And that's a good thing. It kind of like Top Gun Maverick, Top Gun Maverick felt like, oh, this is the kind of blockbuster that just would have been made years ago. And you would have gone, oh yeah, another good Hollywood movie, but it stands in contrast to so much garbage that it ends up becoming, incredibly popular and the biggest box office last year next to, Avatar 2. Hey gentlemen, unfortunately I gotta take off.
Then we have to run through your super chats. We have
that's what I was trying to get to earlier when I was interrupting you. I'm sorry about that, but yeah. I knew we'd be losing you soon, but Pilgrim Media says he took his mom to the book club movie, Horrible Cringe. I'm sorry you put yourself through that, but I'm glad. Hopefully your mom enjoyed it at least.
It's a genre of like cute old ladies.
Yeah.
It's a genre. The 80 for Brady is probably the better. It's the better of those.
Yeah.
I enjoyed 80 for Brady. It is what it is. It's also like I saw it with a packed crowd who ate it up and laughed. And
it must have did well because it was at my local theater forever. Sorry, Chris.
It's based on a true story. It's very good. Yeah. I thought it was funny. So there you go.
Watching old women swearing is hilarious.
Swearing and trying to get laid and doing drugs. It's fun. I mean, there's like raunchy aspects to it, but it's like, and Sally Field she's just great. She's so.
Are you saying you like her? You really, really like her?
I do really like her. I have another recommend if you would. It's a movie starring Sally Field. I believe it's called, I gotta have to look it up. My Name is Doris. I think that's the name of it. My Name is Doris.
Sounds right.
Yeah, and it's about a woman who she She loses her mother tragically and goes back into the workplace and ends up, she's older, but ends up with a crush on a guy like, hello, my name is Doris. I think it's from 2016. Anyways, so she ends up going back into the workforce and has a crush on a guy who's like half her age and tries to go for him. And it's incredibly awkward. I mean, it's really funny. And you know, she's not into him at all, or he's not into her at all, but it's just the sort of length she goes to try to get his attention is funny and awkward and weird, and it's a really good character story. She goes to like see like a band and tries to be cool and fit in. It's basically the feature-length version of that meme with Steve Buscemi where he says, "Hello, fellow kids," you know, which is funny. Anyways, any other super chats?
Yeah. Lars Jensen said for $10, "Hi, Chris. Did a review of Critics' Court on Camille's harem. Thanks for putting it together. A positive step forward for fan debate. Though the prosecution fumbled a bit. Hope they bring their A game."
Well, we're going to rotate different people. So every week you'll see some people return, but a lot of people have wanted to be a part of the show. And I want to just have it be a revolving thing. You know, this week for the prosecution, it's this week for the defense. My agenda, which is not so secret, and I talk about it on the show, I want to get people who disagree to debate rather than we see people fight on Twitter and nobody wins. It's I find it tiresome. Debate, like, give me your best argument. Try to change my mind. Try to tell me the Disney sequel trilogy is amazing. Convince me. And we have some really amazing speakers coming up in the coming weeks. So I'm excited to see how these debates roll out. People think it's going to be like a steamroll for the prosecution. I'm telling you, wait until some of these other debates come up. It's going to be crazy. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
And then Marksman117B says, "Chris, you once recommended Spine of Night. I recommend for you Unicorn Wars, animated Spanish film of teddy bears genociding unicorns in holy war. Apocalypse now fused with Bambi and the Bible."
Oh, that's good.
That sounds pretty badass.
I was just writing something similar. Damn.
Wow, that sounds really good. Yeah, Spine of Night is an animated. It's basically like a heavy metal comic brought to life. Spine of Night. It's so good. Lucy Lawless is the voice of the lead character, who's basically full frontal naked for the whole movie. It's amazing. It's sexy. It's hyper violent.
It's heavy metal done right, basically.
It's heavy metal done right. Spine of Night, probably my favorite animated movie. I tried to help that thing get nominated for an Oscar. Did not. Just by telling people about it, but you know,
best sword and sorcery of the past 20 years.
Well, you can only do so much, Chris. You did what you could with RRR. So
I did what I could with RRR. I still didn't get Gary from Nerdrotic still hasn't watched RRR.
Neither have I, so don't feel bad.
Watch it. That's okay. I still love Gary.
Oh, you don't love me because I didn't watch it? Oh, no,
wait, did you watch it?
No, I said I still haven't watched it yet.
I didn't watch it. All right, I still love you in spite of that major flaw. A movie that I only talked about thousands of times, and it's a great film. It's embarrassing. Hollywood should be embarrassed that they can't even make a movie like that with that kind of broad appeal. A movie that has humor, heart, friendship, action, violence. It's a little slice of history, extremely exaggerated, but it'll get you interested in the real history. And it appeals to both sides of the aisle politically, can see it through a different lens, which is, I think, one of the things that's really remarkable about RRR is the fact that one person's going to say, it sort of has this anti-colonial message that comes from,
that's not too subtle.
Yeah, it's not subtle at all. But then the other thing is it's very pro-gun. It's very pro-Second Amendment. It's, if we had guns, these colonials could not have come in and taken over. We really need guns. There's a whole subplot where one of the characters is after guns to bring back to his tribe to fight the colonial invaders. So it's like this weird, for people on the left, it means one thing. For people on the right, it means another thing. And I love it. I think it can be looked at and appeal to both, and that's cool. Like, Hollywood can't do that anymore.
And then SCR Red Wolf says for $5, it's 404 not found, especially with some brains that are missing around Hollywood. Chris needs to be aware of 418, I'm a teapot.
Yeah, 418. What is that? What?
I don't know. You have to put a pin on it because I know you have limited time. And then OC Giggin says for $5, when are we getting Chris's Little Mermaid review? Also, how did Script get his avatar? Everyone is just a circle, but he's rocking the full image.
I know Alan is seeing it on Saturday. I might join him. Well, definitely next week. You know, we're thinking about, because Film Threat, we're doing this trial. We're thinking about adding a third show on Mondays, not to conflict with you guys at all. It would be in the afternoon, like an afternoon Monday show, like Monday movie talk or something on Film Threat. But it would be like at 1 p.m. after you guys are done. I literally have scheduled like my live streams so I can still watch my favorite shows.
I was gonna say, don't do it on our account, but if it's just so you can watch us, well, of course. But
no, I'm serious. So yeah, I might
we
end
just
up
as much soon have you here, but yes.
Yeah, but we might end up just starting temporarily like a Monday show while Critics Court is running. But yeah, Tom, we got to get you on Critics Court. Look at those, look at the charges and see kind of where, and then we have teams for the defense and prosecution. So you come on, you talk for like 10 or 15 minutes, you hand it off to someone else, they talk for 10 or 15, then, you know, the defense, and then, you know, it's open debate. So
right.
I just want to get people yelling at each other. It'll be fun. Yeah.
Well, and to answer your question about Script Doctor, I believe you use OBS, correct?
Yes, I do.
That's what I thought. Yes.
Yeah, I use StreamYard. Yeah, Script, you're welcome too. I mean, anyone on this stream, you know, if you feel like Critics Court for you is for you.
Well, I watched the one last Wednesday, which I enjoyed quite a bit.
Yeah,
I liked how you were very much trying to help people get to their point of their arguments.
Yeah, I got mad at Anna, that Star Wars girl. I said, look, when is man gonna walk up? When are the apes gonna walk upright?
Yeah.
She started but then she brought it home and it was really good. I will say, Script, if you are on the show, you will have to dress for court.
I have a tie.
yeah. I'm sure you have an avatar that's like dressed formal.
Yeah. I have the one I wore during Oscar night.
That would be great.
I'm pretty sure he does. Waltman says, Chris, the pendulum swung hard on digital media.
And he continues that with especially at Vice and BuzzFeed.
I used to like those, like way back when. I thought Vice was cool. You know,
Vice was from Montreal, started in Montreal.
Yeah, and now it's awful and unreadable, along with BuzzFeed and all their. I admired the BuzzFeed listicles when they would do these sort of innocuous lists. It's like, oh, that's kind of an entertaining, quick read. But both of them are just down the toilet. So there you go. Thank you for your support of the channel.
Absolutely. And we are losing Chato as well here. And I know that if anything, you are in more of a rush. There was one super chat here that addressed you as well. And it's this one, Whiffed, who says for 11 Canadian dollars, hey, Script Doctor, I just want to say I loved your show on Saturday with Paul and Robert Meyer-Burnett on Gear Porn. Hope to see more episodes like that and on different franchises.
Yeah, I watched that. I watched that as well. What a great episode. Paul, you and RMB talking and Script there, like that conversation was fantastic. I thought it was great. I watched it as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to do, and yes, we'll do more with other guests, of course, and other franchises. Just have to make sure the scheduling all works out for all parties involved. And
Robert is such a knowledgeable person.
Yes.
Well, just the combination of the three of you talking and that as a primary, you know, driving subject matter was an amazing conversation. So, hey, I got to run. So,
thank you, Chris. Bye.
Check out Film Threat.
Thank you. I'll see you Wednesday, Paul, in court.
Yep.
And thank you to everyone. Watch Critics Court on Wednesdays, 1 p.m. Pacific time.
I still have to get my time from I can't remember his name, Derek.
Yeah. I'm going to be sending out the links and stuff today, putting together all this stuff. But thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. See you next Monday.
Yeah, I'm a hostile witness.
Yeah, good.
Take care.
Take care.
And also check out Paul Chato's channel. Call Me Chato, and he is going to be leaving us as well. So
yeah, and so unfortunately is Cultured Casino. So everyone check out Cultured Casino as well. The 6-minute daily should absolutely be part of your daily viewing habits.
Well, before anybody goes, do they want to chime in the possibility of the Superman casting before you go? Nicholas Hoult being one of the front runners, it looks like, with David Cornsweet. I don't know how accurate this is,
Nicholas
but
Hoult of the four that
Nicholas Hoult is on the far left.
Oh, okay.
He's of recent Renfield fame.
Oh, him. Oh, I love him.
Yes, and he was also the front runner for the Batman until the studio's like, nah, we'd rather have the Sparkle guy.
He was actually director Matt Reeves' first choice, but the studio overruled him and decided on Pattinson on his behalf.
Oh, he would have been way better.
Yeah, he would have.
Cornsweet probably has.
He kind of looks like a young Michael Keaton on top of it all, which is weird. But anyway, consider. I'm sorry, Culture. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Cornsweet actually looks more chiseled in the jaw area, which is kind of the one of those.
He does have the more liney jaw. Yeah.
I was as far as acting, I think I'd prefer Nicholas Hoult. But hey, that's just my opinion. So.
Nicholas Hoult is a little too feminine for Superman.
So. Yeah.
Also, for Nicholas Hoult is 5 years older than James Gunn is technically looking at for the character. The other guy there in the bow tie, he's 26, so he's right at the sweet spot. For it. But the other part too is Gunn publicly stated that he has not discussed any casting stuff publicly or technically privately that would leak to any of the trades. So all this is really
he's been swatting them down. Yeah,
this is just trade conjecture and speculation.
Right. Yeah, and like I said, I agree with you. I think Cornsweet's probably a better choice visually.
But yeah, so we'll have to wait and see what he says. He says he's made a choice, but he will not publicly comment on it. And his reason for it,
one role, and it's most likely his wife.
Oh, that's true. You said he cast one role. That's right. He said it. I can remember exactly how I put it. But then he also said that he does not comment on casting unless the individual comments on it first. So like he won't answer any questions about who were possibilities or anything like that unless the individual brings it up themselves first.
There you
go. That makes sense.
Well, he's doing a good job. The fact that people are buzzing about who might be in it is a bit of a departure from what's been happening at Marvel, where nobody cares.
Yeah. True story. All right, I got to step out, gentlemen. I
thank you, Culture. Take care of yourself. Check out Culture Casino's channel. Paul, you also said you had to leave.
Yes. Any things I gotta?
I think we got all your super chats here. Let me double check, but I think we.
Okay.
If we missed any, I will dock myself some pay.
No problem. I will go and marshal all my levers of my business levers and save the world of bad websites.
Yes, you go TCB. Take care of business.
Thank you. I should know that because taking care of business is the Canadian anthem, thanks to the BTO.
Yes, they are. Didn't we just lose a member of BTO this last week?
They died. Yeah, the drummer.
Yeah, that's sad. I heard that.
Yeah. So, BTO hasn't been BTO.
Yeah. No.
Randy Bachman's brother. It was Randy Bachman's brother who died. Yes, it's big news in North America. The new drummer is going to be Dylan Mulvaney.
Oh.
He's everywhere. Like you just can't get rid of him.
All right. Well, thank you, Paul, for being here. You got anything to plug on your way out?
No. Actually, I've decided to take a break from writing and videos and just like relax a bit.
Your mother-in-law was over, huh?
Yes, she was.
Yeah.
Couldn't get any
I loved your comments last night. I'm not going to say them out loud, but yeah.
No, don't do that. Talk to you later, everyone. Thanks, Andre.
I treasure your life. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, let's get back on these super chats. On the topic of Batman and Matt Reeves, JRG Project says Matt Reeves, the Batman, got back the character's roots as an investigator. If the Superman gets back to its roots, this would be similar to the World's Finest special in the 90s. DC just may have hope. Well, too bad Batman was a shitty investigator in the Batman, but hey.
And that was not crossing over with the other DC films, so you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah, Matt Reeves and Gunn have nothing to do with each other's business. So No, I actually have a lot of faith in Gunn. We'll have to see how he does this.
Yeah, we'll have to see who he picks. I will say this: I'm very disappointed in the trades trying to find a Lois Lane. They're not picking many actors that actually have any talent, let alone beauty. It's pretty
the one
sad.
chick looks like they were picked just because she kind of looks like Margot Kidder. It's like, no, Margot Kidder got the role just because of her personality.
And not only
right?
that, it looks like Margot Kidder in her bad phase. Like
exactly.
Not the face that she was proud of to have that.
No, she got the role because she made Richard Donner laugh because she walked in the room and tripped on the way in. And she's like, "Hi, I'm Lois Lane. I'm here to play Margot Kidder. I mean, I'm Margot Kidder, and I'm here to play Lois Lane." And that won him over, I guess. That was what did it.
Yeah.
He said she came in with cowboy boots and jeans.
Yeah. And the little screen time that she had, she definitely won a lot of hearts in that movie. So
you got me, but who's got you?
Mm-hmm.
One of the best lines in cinema history. But yes, we'll have to see how it pans out. Not to crap on the Batman. I know it has its fans, but I can't with that movie. I'm sorry. Adam Wolford says, "Hey Andre, you here?"
Yeah, I'm here. And Adam, of course, is referring to the Egyptologist that I mentioned I was talking with. And that's the context here when he says, "Hey, Andre, you should have him on and e-fap it scene by scene on how wrong they got everything." Now, I would like that, but of course, we have to be a little bit protective of our sources. And someone working in that field may not want to publicly associate with someone like us because it could be bad for their career, because you know how that field can be.
Yeah, we're
otherwise,
yeah. Waltman says, "Don't worry, Andre. Egypt will do their own docu-series of Cleopatra. Also, I got a 404 arrow on the video and asked if I know not to." What's the video that you were posting that everybody's getting a 404 on? I don't get
this
it.
is episode 404 of Midnight's Edge in the Morning.
Ah, okay. That's how out of it Tom is today. Tom is dealing with a bunch of personal shit today, so I apologize. STR Red Wolf says, just quote critic Jay Sherman, "It stinks." Yes, it does. Darius Munchausen sent us some popcorn. That doesn't stink. We like popcorn here. And then, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Rod Thunderheart sends in 55 Canadian dollars to say, "Hail Midnight's Edge in the Morning. A few bucks for See-Through Love, an invisible Spanish teacher and a blind martial artist teacher, gym teacher, go on a whirlwind romance involving lust, secret powers, government conspiracies. See-Through Love to Pyro, coming soon, and See-Through Love, Cuban Assassin." So he's already got a planned trilogy, it sounds like. So check it out, kids. See-Through Love is available now. I'm sure our mods can share the link for us if they would do so. And yeah, Rod Thunderheart, check it out. Thank you, Rod, for the donation.
Indeed, thank you.
Doug 1985, who says, "There has to be a bet, sick joke, between rich elites to see if Americans can prevail with everything going on and make things normal like in the 80s and 90s, etc."
You mean like a very huge game of trading places?
I was just going to say that. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. It could very well be.
Yeah, someone appears to be playing a game of hold my beer, that's for sure.
And the wager is $1.
Well, and it's, I was going to bring this up during Chris talking about the Judy Blume film, but I never got a chance to. But it's kind of funny that, it's just they can't make movies like that nowadays, right? But we've had these stories already before, like a movie telling a story that has to do with a girl's period. It's not new. We've already been there, done that. It was called Carrie as well, right? Like.
Well, that's a horror film. I don't think there's.
But still, they act like they're breaking new ground all the time. Is my point, and they're not. You're not breaking any new ground, exactly. Big Daddy MRI says it's a super sticker. Thank you so much, Big Daddy MRI, and he also gifted 5 memberships. So hopefully, you were one of the recipients of the membership. We got to have a member stream here soon, Andre. That reminds me. And then we got another one from Rod, who says, Hail Midnight's Edge in the Morning, says, I have 3 women drivers at Action Trucking, or we have, sorry. 2 of the best drivers I've ever known were women. Jose, a French gal, threw tires, or Josie, there, thank you so much. Threw tires around easily. Mel, a pretty native gal, got me tried deck trailers. I think he means to try, perhaps. There you go. So yeah, women have places in all industries. It's just, it's only if they want to be there. Forcing them into that role is not going to make a difference. Space Monkey 0899 says 1984 major plot point, bead anti-copulation league. Yeah. Yeah. And then he adds to that, Big Brother said pleasure for procreation. YouTube won't let me type the word F autocorrect. Yes. It won't let him use the F word. We understand. Sometimes you can use dashes and stuff if it lets you, but we kind of get the point. But yes, the 1984 Anti-Copulation League. Thank you for that, Space Monkey. We appreciate that. Camelbot Killer says, I don't drink. I feel bad for honest workers they could lose their jobs, dumb executives making these dumb decisions. Yeah, they're not even thinking about this kind of stuff, of course, at the end of the day. This is kind of what pissed me off about Miller getting involved in this, because, yeah, Miller's a big deal in Wisconsin. Maybe not in the town I live in, per se, but...
Here's the thing, though, that I also feel really, really bad for the innocent workers who lose their jobs on it. But here's the thing. They are basically being held hostage by other people who are way, way up the chain, who have a completely different ulterior motive. So are you going to let them win because they're holding hostages? You're in a sense giving into terrorism that way.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, that's some level of collateral damage.
Seth sends in $4.99 and says, I made a Conan themed album titled Are You There, Crom? It's Me, Conan. I call the genre Sumerian rock. Oh, yeah. Now I got to make this happen.
Everyone should know that Sumerians don't pray. But
Are you there, Crom? It's me, Conan. To hell with you if you're not there. I'll do it myself.
That is the will of Crom right there.
I have the will of Crom. And it's the bomb.
I think we can do that. Camelbot Killer says, anyone going to see Raiders of the Lost Ark on 6/4? No, I didn't know it was being re-released in theaters. But if I actually get a chance to, that'd be fun. That's first I've heard it's coming back. Cool. And then we've got Jesus Davila, who sends in a thumbs up. Thank you so much. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. Paulus Plain says, The Simpsons Homer, no TV, no beer, make Homer do something. Marge go crazy. Homer, don't mind if I do.
Yes. That was a classic. That was
classic.
The
Shining
Simpsons
episode
was actually good.
Mm-hmm.
No beer and no TV, make Homer go something.
There's no go hump something. It's just something because something.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
Go something be go crazy, but that's not it.
You're right. For some reason, I don't know why I added the go. Camelbot Killer says, panel, any re-release movies you going to see? Example, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Rain Man, The Birds, etc. Well, the last two actually all three of those I already have in 4K, so I'd probably have a much better experience in my own home than going to deal with a bunch of the crap. But I'd consider it for Raiders, perhaps. But
I've seen Raiders in theater a few times already, so I don't need to see it again. I've got a projector at home and the Blu-ray, and that's enough for me.
Yeah.
We very rarely get re-releases in Norway. Like most of the time when you get them in the States, we don't get them here.
Right. So yeah. And then let me double check real quick with the mod group. Well, I'm sure we've got at least one or two. No, we don't have any more memberships. I got them all. So there we go.
Oh, perfect.
Good to go on that. And then Big Daddy MRI, speaking of mods, brought to our attention that it's Doomscock birthday today. Finally, I know we've been celebrating it for like a week.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday today. It's also Robert Meyer Burnett's birthday too?
Yep.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Well, happy birthday, guys. Quit fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
It's their birthday and they can fight if they
for the
want
two of
to.
you.
No, I say quit fighting. He's got the shin in. Yes. So yes, happy birthday, guys. And then War2 says Bud Light went woke and Miller said hold my beer. Well, this sounds like they did it first and then Bud Light did it, but I think they were hoping
Bud
they
Light
could get
really
away with
did
it.
say hold my beer because they
Yeah.
definitely screwed the pooch worse than Miller.
And that's probably why I mean, obviously maybe it did cause a bit of a stink when it came out, but not that big enough of a stink. And then Dylan Mulvaney thing just put a magnifying glass on it.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, let's see what the other beers are up to. Oh shit.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if Miller did this at the beginning of March, then basically Bud Light said, hold my beer. And they really did say, hold my beer, because that dominated the news cycle for a good 10 days.
And Dylan Mulvaney held the beer.
Yeah.
So there you go, kids. Yeah. And with that, we have reached the end of our super chats, and we have caught up on all of our stories because we did touch on the Superman business. Almost said Batman business. So
But
yeah.
to be fair, he almost was Batman too. So
I know. Well, of course, you have the Batman reject in the title. That's why I keep saying it. But yeah,
exactly.
I mean, as far as like you're right. Like I don't know if he'd have done good as the Batman either. I mean, the movie would have been the same without the same actor in it. It still would have been a shit movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, after seeing Renfield, I think he would have done okay. I mean, the action he handles the action he handles in Renfield, and he's a lot bigger than I realized he was.
And he's really good in Mad Max Fury Road.
Well, I know he was in that, but he seems small in that compared to all the other guys that he's around, and other things that he's been in, he seems like average size. But after seeing him, especially in Renfield, up against Awkwafina and Nicolas Cage, you kind of get a sense of how tall he really is. You're like, he probably could have pulled that off if he'd have bulked up a bit. But yeah, you're right. In the chin area, the other guys got it better as far as like a more defined area.
I mean, like he has the acting chops, but I don't know that he has the right looks, and I don't know it would be good with a Superman like that. You need someone with the chiseled looks like Henry Cavill, and him following Henry Cavill. That's like that's a very effeminate Superman compared to how Superman has been portrayed before.
Yeah, Nicholas Hoult doesn't have very masculine lips. Like they're almost pursed all the time.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't look good for a Batman, and it wouldn't look good for a Superman or any hero.
He's a good actor, but he's hardly a paragon of masculinity.
Yeah, he would be good maybe as a Brainiac, like a Kaluan, green makeup and glowing dots on his head.
Yeah, he'd be okay with that, but not as Superman. So I do hope that James Gunn will do better than that. Otherwise, we're in for a rough ride here. But we did have a couple of more super chats towards the end here. Wartooth88 says for $2, Bud Light went woke, and Miller said, "Hold my beer." Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Mario Trujillo said for $5, "Thank you guys for the entertainment. Going in for hernia surgery tomorrow, so I won't be able to watch for a while since you make me laugh too hard." Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I guess.
Ouch.
And either way, good luck for the hernia surgery. We will be thinking about you and wishing you the best of luck.
Yeah.
And once you are sufficiently healed, we look forward to having you back again.
Well,
so do let us know when you are back, and try not to think of anything funny in the meantime. So,
yeah.
So yeah, maybe have some Bud Light. That'll no, actually no, you'll laugh in a very effeminate way. So yeah. And Camabot Killer wonders, script, how goes the writer's strike?
Well, it's start of week 3, and apparently there hasn't been much progression on it. Directors are still not making headway in their negotiations, and in a couple of weeks, the actors start their negotiations. So we might get a trifecta of strikes before the end of
and then
June.
aren't the Teamsters up right behind them too?
Yeah, the Teamsters have already shown support for the WGA and the DGA right now, so that could be an inevitability. If this does last, goes the distance, this could be all the major departments of Hollywood shut down.
It could be a long winter.
The Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers don't want to, dish out the appropriate amount of residuals that these unions are asking for.
Oh, that's just fantastic. That's just what the industry needs right about now.
Right.
So, yeah, good going. Good luck, everyone.
As I said, it's going to be a long winter. Yeah.
Yeah. Good going there.
Did we get the one from Magnus Toth?
No, I was about to double check
Okay.
it here. Yeah, because we also got a super chat from Magnus Toth. No message. Just $19.99. So then I assume, thank you so much for the support. That really does help out, and we really appreciate it. And Kamabot Killer said for $2 script, sounds like we need 3 Stooges to settle it.
Hey, Mo.
Exactly. And with that, I do believe that we are fully caught up. So,
Micah J sent in one last minute one. It says, if the It's Me, Margaret movie is good as Chris said, when can we expect a Fudge movie? I've been wanting one to happen since I was a kid. I don't think it's going to happen now because the box office for Margaret has not been great.
Yeah, do not hold your breath on that, let's just say. Do not hold your breath.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad because, I do agree. The Tales of Fourth Grade Nothing and the Fudge franchise could easily be as popular as something like the Wimpy Kid series was, but it's 30 years past its due date. Like, that's the problem. I think that's the point that, and like I said to Chris, I'm surprised they let him keep it as a period piece. And I wasn't meaning that to be punny either, right? Like, I'm surprised they didn't update it all to modern stuff.
Indeed. But with that, I do believe that we are fully caught up. So I would just want to say thanks to all the panelists who were here today. The links for every single one is in the description. Thanks to everyone watching. Please help share this stream. Go and head on over to Midnight's Edge Live Archives, where you will find the re-upload of this stream, plus the best of clips from it. Check out our Bud Light video if you haven't seen it, and stay tuned for the Miller's update, which will be sure to follow before long, in addition to some other stuff. Script, anything you want to plug on the way out the door?
Just check out the show I dropped on Saturday between myself, Robert Meyer Burnett, and Paul Chato. Also, I'll be dropping some articles on Patreon this week, so if you aren't already a member, please feel free to subscribe over there. Going to be talking about independent film and basically relationships again and character work. So feel free to check me out over there if you're so inclined to learn more about the writing tips and tricks and seeing some cool little reviews and exclusive videos prior to their debut on YouTube.
Yeah, and also a special thanks to the mods for helping us out here. And be sure to check out Toxic Femininity later tonight. And that's going to be a real hoot, because I've seen like our Toxic Femininity chat, and the ladies are in absolute disbelief over that commercial we spoke about. So you do not want to miss that. So be sure to check back for that. Check out Script Doctor's Patreon. And with that, it is time for some koalas.
Just before, I guess Gonzalo said he had a member chat, but I didn't see it and none of the other mods did. So, and so we're not sure what you were asking or said, Gonzalo. If you want to type it real quick, we can probably address it. Sorry about that, Andre.
And with that, koalas in the rain.
Well, I was going to wait for Gonzalo for a moment, but okay, because we got to give him the lag time. But yeah, all right. Well, we'll try to address it in the chat if we can.
Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given. Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain.
Gonzalo says Cleopatra ends with her producing the first beer. Well, you're wrong, sir. That was Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence. Thank you, Gonzalo.